Can't go wrong with black.
Can't go wrong with black.
It's a staple. I agree. Black, blue, gray.
I have noticed that most of my wardrobe is black.
Black,
and
black.
grays.
That's
And tans.
blue jeans. Makes my legs look too big. Black.
You know,
jeans.
I'm in the apparel business. I'm like, everybody always wants to try out these. I'm like, guys, this is an 80% male event. You won't sell a single color.
Yeah.
You can try all of it. If it's not earth tone, they ain't buying it.
Yeah. Although I do dig the blue. Like I've been digging the blue shirts we got.
You could pull off the blue.
I like
Yeah,
the
I probably ain't wearing the blue.
No, that's too bad.
Yeah, that's too.
Did you know that was blue though?
Mule deer. That's too
I'm
mule
fairly
deer. That
colorblind, so
screams
probably
mule deer
not.
hunter too much for me.
What color does that look like to you? Blue? I mean,
Looks
like
like
when you looked at it, you're
looks like a
you're colorblind,
baby
right?
blue.
A
Yeah.
baby blue,
like a
royal
robin
blue.
egg blue.
like a Carolina blue.
I always forget
that's a
you're
royal
that
blue.
colorblind.
Yeah, I'm
royal.
colorblind, guys. That's why I shoot big guns to track animals.
You trying to compensate for your clothing?
Yeah, because if I have to track
Carry
an
a big
animal,
gun with a blue shirt.
yeah,
How do you pick an outfit of the day? I've always wondered. Do you know what colors your different T-shirts
I-
are, and you like lay them out with a pair of shorts?
to be fully honest, I have held them against a white wall before. That's the only way I can kind of tell. Like if it's near like my carpet or like my bed, I have colored sheets or whatever. My walls are gray in my house or my bedroom.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to tell. Like I have to like literally put it next to something that's a totally different color, like a white wall.
do
actually tell?
Do different shades of blue look different to you,
Or look the same.
They all look pretty much the
That's
same.
why I'll say everything's blue. I don't even know what a shade of purple would look like. It's just blue.
Purple and blue are the same.
Yeah.
Navy blue, purple.
Yeah.
Hold up that cup next to you, Cody. That's blue.
That'd probably be purple.
That is more of like a pink fuchsia.
What about his coffee cup? Coffee cup's blue.
Yeah, that is blue.
Orange.
We're testing your. Yeah. Are you actually colorblind?
I don't think you are.
Okay, so if you guys right now, you know those little colorblind tests where you have like that circle has all those little dots everywhere. There's like a number in there or a letter. If you give me those, I will fail every single one on that
Really?
colorblind test. I can't remember what that colorblind test is, but I will fail every single one of those.
Crazy.
I swear, back in the day, I never really knew what colors are. I still don't know what colors are.
I can't ever remember getting a colorblind test. I don't know. I've never even heard of such.
I vaguely
Yeah, you
remember.
have. He
I don't
says,
think I have.
Yeah.
What's the image? Can you see the image? And it's got like a star or
No.
something, right?
I don't remember
Like,
that.
I'll fail all of them.
They give that to you in elementary school?
It's
Or like
That's
a
where
check, like a
it's
checkup?
still, it's still one of those things where
That's why I remember it.
I've watched so many of those videos where people give those like other, girl guy those glasses that you can see colors and they start bawling. Like, I really wonder what that's like. I honestly do. I can see. Everyone's like, "Oh, can you see stop signs?" Like, yeah, I can see red, yellow, and green. Like, I can see that because they're different at the top. But you put stuff right next to each other, I'm screwed. Like, blood and green grass, no sir. Blood and snow, yeah, I can see that.
So Christmas for you is just a blur.
Oh, it's a mind. It's not good having red and green
So it's
next
got
to
to
each
have
other.
strong contrast.
Yeah, it's got a strong contrast.
Yeah.
Like I could tell, red if it was just red by itself. Yeah. But next to things,
That's just somebody told you it was red, right? Like you have to clarify like how red is that? What shade
is
of
my shirt
red?
actually not blue?
It's blue.
It's very,
It's very blue. It's the bluest.
Yeah, it's blue. It's blue.
It's royal blue.
So if you ever-
Royal blue.
This is what I always say to people too. If you ever see really bad edited photos from me, it's because I'm colorblind. I don't know what the freaking colors are.
I can't say I've ever seen any really bad edited
Yeah,
photos.
I can't say that either.
Okay, well that's
I like your
my
photo
caveat.
style.
You tend to do okay in the old photos. I have wondered though about your outfits. I was like, I wonder if Grady
wonder
gets
if
up
he
in the
knew.
morning. There's been some times where I'm like, I wonder if he knows what color shirt that is
No.
with those shorts. But then I kind of like it. It's kind of endearing, I think,
Yeah, it's my
good on
style.
him.
What if
trendsetter.
mismatched
Yeah,
clothes
trendsetter.
is better?
Yeah, you can wear whatever you want
can
now.
wear whatever I want.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, now we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
We figured you're in a very blue shirt.
I'm in a very blue shirt.
We have a special guest in the office today.
yes.
We got Mark Livesay.
Yeah,
Did I say your last name right?
pretty good.
Is it?
Livesay.
Livesay. How do you spell it?
Most people say Livesay.
Livesay.
It's Live.
Okay.
Like live, Say.
Right, Livesay. Yeah, my last name's Kreitzer, so people butcher
People
that
just
all,
butcher that
yeah,
one.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It's very rare that somebody gets my last name right. We appreciate you
Those
popping
damn
in.
Germans, man.
Yeah, damn German names. Yeah, it's funny. They'll call me Chrysler.
Chrysler.
Yeah, that one's pretty common. Chrysler. I think that's just like the Southern Utah draw, adding an L in there. Chrysler.
Yeah, that's a Utah thing for sure.
But yeah, we're happy to have you in the office today, though. Thanks for making the trip.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. You guys always make me fly in like the late, super late
Yeah.
red-eye flights, but that's okay.
We try to make you land with cooler weather.
Yeah.
Like you landed maybe 105 instead of
I
117.
landed at the airport, walked through the little tunnel. I'm like, at midnight, I'm like, what in the hell is this? So,
It's hot.
This ain't Montana. This ain't Montana.
As they say,
No.
it's the dry heat.
Yeah,
So it's
different.
okay.
It's a dry heat. It's
Yeah,
totally
it's
okay.
I think we fly people late into Vegas just to eliminate the potential for trouble. You know, you fly,
Well, I mentioned
you fly into Vegas, so let's say you land at 6. You've got 4 hours
got
there
a
where you
lot
can
of
get
options.
yourself into some trouble.
lot of
and then,
trouble, and
and
then
then
not
that
show up
turns
the
into
next day.
3, 4 a.m. at
Yeah.
that point. But if you
Or
land
3-4 days.
in my younger days, I spent some time in Vegas, and my wife likes to limit my ground time in Vegas. So she was excited about this trip. Fly in, fly out. I don't have a lot of time to
Yeah.
get in trouble.
Yeah.
you do some gambling?
No.
No?
Not much of a gambler.
No, not even some blackjack or some slots. Nothing.
Nothing.
I heard he might be spending some money though while he's down here.
Now, my gambling probably back at the GOHUNT shop.
Yeah, he was asking about
say-
some SIG binos.
Man, the new SIG 12s.
I'm
I
moving
have
I'm
the
moving to
10s and
6.
the 16s, but the 12s were that super steady and the better glass. Got a chance to try them out at the Western Hunting Summit. Brian Barney had a pair on site. First time I'd seen them, and I'm a big fan of those things anyway.
You're talking the image stabilization ones?
Yes.
And the new ones
the
have
move.
a super stabilization mode. So you have the normal stabilization mode. You flip the switch on, and within 2 seconds, you flip it off and back on again, and it's super stable. So
How long does it stay on? Like
What do
if
you-
you
what
hit
do
the
you say?
button,
It's like
About 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's
about
longer.
8
Oh,
minutes.
it's
8
longer now.
minutes.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So, you'll be glassing with those things, and then they'll start, just flip, and you're good. Sometimes it's a pain, but the battery lasts forever. Because of that. Because I forget to turn mine off, but you
All
throw
the
it back
time,
in your
yeah.
mind, okay? So the 10s take the little lithium battery, C25 or whatever
Yeah.
that, C2, whatever
Yeah,
that is.
CR2s.
And then the 16s take like the AA battery. But literally, we, bear hunting is super glass intensive, right? And if I put a fresh battery in, 10 days is not uncommon for that battery. Morning, noon, night glassing.
Really?
So very economical. There's no, I know people aren't going to like to hear this, but there's no glass on planet Earth that is better than those binoculars.
I'm glad you said that.
Not the glass.
Come on
but
now.
the capabilities.
No.
I have 2 pairs of Swaros
Yeah.
that have not come off my shelf one time since the day I bought those Zulus.
I know guys who are selling their Swaros. To go
You guys, I'm moving to it this year. That's what I'm
you
moving to
can
this
literally
year.
I can't buy it.
You
I,
can
I
put
don't
Brady
believe,
talk
I
me
don't
into it.
believe you.
You can
I
literally
don't
put
believe
something
in
next
either one of you.
You take your Swaros on a tripod. I take mine.
Sure.
My 16th. I will glass up more animals than you
Guaranteed.
in the course of the day.
That's 'cause I'm
colorblind
blind
now.
in one eye.
But
You know what? That's even more important that you go to.
Yeah.
So here's the thing on those stabilizations. So here's a classic example. We were at, I think were you at the Crazies Western Hunting Summit?
Yep, I was at the one.
So we hike up that ridge, right? It's blowing like 45 miles an hour. Wind is blowing, and this moose walks out. And we could see him with the naked eye. And everybody's trying to look at him. We thought it was a bear at first, just this black blob way over there, right? Everybody's looking and dropping down, putting their Swaros on the log. The wind, I'm just standing up there with 16s like this. Yeah, it's a moose. It's a cow moose.
How are you
She's like,
glassing in that wind trail? You ain't.
Nobody
off a tripod.
can pick it
Yeah,
up.
but it's not going to be pleasant.
Yeah, I
Long
agree.
distance glassing with shaking.
I'm curious. So from a glass perspective, I'm talking clarity.
Clarity, there-
edge clarity, brightness. You're
No.
saying
Clarity
No.
means nothing.
But you get all the other added benefits to it. So those added benefits are going to make you better. Like, do you really need the clearest glass all the time?
I kinda
could
like
argue
it.
Probably not.
I kind of like it.
See, I used to think that. I was a binocular kind of snob, right?
yeah.
Maybe not Brady's level with the big BTX stuff. Never went quite that far, just because I didn't want to carry around my house. But the day I put those up to my eyes, I was like, "This is whole different." And they're so gimmicky. Like you would,
They look
you would
silly.
look at them.
Yeah,
and
they
you're
look
like,
silly.
There's no way
They look like an old
and then
Toro
you look at
prism
the
almost.
price, and you're like, "Well, Back then, they were $500.
Yeah, they're dirt cheap.
And I'm like, there can't be anything to these.
I will say though, compared to because I've had the old ones and I got the new ones. I was able to test out the new ones this year. I shot my Aoudad, bear, everything else I've hunted this year. The new glass is better than the old glass.
Yes.
So
you mean the 12s?
Yeah. So even though the whole line,
the whole line. You're exactly right.
So if you had the old ones, you're like, yeah, the glass quality isn't that. This, it wasn't the greatest, but now the new ones are actually a lot better improvement. They're honestly, I'll say they're not Swaro quality like the actual glass, but the features. I love Glassy Trail.
No, I hear you. I get the argument. I just have a hard time with
we
it.
We can even have two totally different people, like two very just off the block people, and they will have one Swaro and one with those. You'll be able to pick up more details because you can see everything flying around. You can see a little ear twitch. You can see a tail moving. Like
the movement, the picking up on the movement.
When you're hiking up a ridge and you're breathing really hard, I can flip that switch and now I'm on tripod standing there and see that animal jump over the ridge before it does it. Where it might be hard to see.
That's the scenario I can see. So you're glassing offhand. You're hiking. It's like you're saying the wind's blowing. You see a moose or a bear across the ridge. You just want to throw up your binos and take a look. Oh, you got nicotine delivery.
The PEDs showed up.
Wow, that's
you say the PEDs?
Two logs.
Yeah, PED showed up.
We got performance enhancing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see it in that situation. But sitting behind a tripod, with a pair of binos mounted and solid, and you're just scanning, I want to have a hard time.
So the reason you're doing it,
I know, because I can't get steady.
Window.
I know,
and I'm guaranteeing you this because I've done it. You can mount on any tripod you want.
Yeah,
you can get them as stable as you want. They're still not as stable as those stabilizers. But
interesting.
And the nice thing too, like your body can get so much more comfortable. You're not having to lean forward on your tripod. You can lean back. I can lean on my backpack, and I'm just stable like a tripod. I can just move around, make my body comfortable. If my body's comfortable, I'm gonna be glassing more.
So what I do a lot is I got my trekking pole with the rubber part handle. I just got them sitting on top of it, right? Like I would with binoculars. But those stabilized binoculars on top of a trekking pole are like next level.
So do you not carry a tripod anymore? No tripod.
For spotting scope. So that's the kicker.
Yeah.
How many times are you out there and you've got your binos strapped on and you see something and you're like, oh, I want to get my spotting scope. You got to put your spotting scope on. Mm-hmm. And I always found myself not doing it because I'm like, I didn't want to make the change. I'm like, I already got my binoculars on. So now my process is, as soon as I sit down for a glassing session, I've got my tripod with my Swaro spotting scope, which has got better glass. Mm-hmm. And then I'm glassing with my image stabilizers. And then I can just go back and forth.
Gotcha.
I can throw my phone. I can throw my all-in on my scope while I'm actually looking at it through my binoculars. So you're able to get both stabilizations with only one tripod.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can see it.
Think about bear hunting. I don't know if this is our topic today, but
no,
everything's our topic today.
But you're walking down the ridge. You got this long ridge, right? Every guy's got to stop and set up and glass for a while. With those 16s, I literally walk a little more, never even have to sit down.
Gotcha.
You're going to look at more country with them because you won't fight the urge to okay, I'm gonna get up there, then I'm gonna sit down, right? Then I'm gonna set up. With those, you don't even think about it. You just look.
Mm-hmm. We're getting trail convinced. I like this.
Did you get motion sickness at all from them?
No.
Any kind of move? I know when I've looked through Brady's, I get kind of
why?
You're right away. You're moving probably too fast.
I get kind of the waves going on.
Okay, so that's concerning to me because the reason why I want to go to them is because I get motion sick.
Yeah,
shaking and constantly moving in my other binos.
Oh, you're gonna love these.
I get I have this thing, Meniere's disease. So, anyways, I have this inner ear malfunction thing, and it makes me any type of motion sickness for me is super amplified. So if I look through binos for too long, I get crazy motion sick, especially because I shake a lot.
Those are made for you.
And that's what I want. But if he's saying he gets motion sick because of them,
Trail faints all the time. No, anything he says.
He's like one of those fainting.
No, I don't know what.
I am a fainting goat. That's exactly it.
We talk about that a lot.
You spooky me.
Yeah.
That's a defense mechanism.
Increasingly so. Yeah, I faint quick.
Full on faint.
Yeah, I'll faint. Yeah, I get a real sharp pain of some kind, fall, hit a rock, anything like that.
You are a fainting goat.
Yeah, I faint. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that.
The funniest story ever. We've relived it a million times, but I'm going to do it again. Of course, every time we film hunts, you try and get as much on film as you possibly can. But of course, the one thing that would go like ultra viral for GOHUNT and we'd be world famous, we didn't get on film. He popped a blind open. You know those pack tension blinds that they just pop right open.
Yeah.
Snapped him right in the nuts, and he went down.
Yeah.
If we had that on film, we'd all be famous.
Yeah, I stood up inside that blind and I was kind of giggling, laughing at myself. And I had the camera guy who's a big guy. He's probably 6'4", 220, I would guess. And I was kind of giggling.
Shout out Logan.
Yeah, shout out Logan Summers. Yeah, I was kind of giggling and I said, I think I might pass out. And he was like, oh, whatever, dude. And I was like, no, for real. So I just threw my arms around his neck.
And went out.
That's the last thing I remember. Yeah, came to. But yeah, that's kind of... I was in Oregon and fell on a beach. Same thing. Took a rock to my back and just passed out. And ever since then, like I get a real sharp pain, I'm out.
So next time I hunt with trail, here's my thing. We're both hunting. We both see a big giant animal.
Just
Both
kick
on
him in
grass.
the shin.
Just kick him somewhere so he faints and boom.
Right in
I'm
the
off.
balls, I'm out.
It's good to know. Next time.
Yeah, but I noticed when I was using Brady's, I got the swims a little bit. I got a little bit motion.
concerning.
We'll show you again.
Yeah.
But like, you can imagine though, like I've never spring bear hunted in Alaska, hunting off a boat.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
going up and down and doing that. Antelope hunting, you're driving down a road. You want to be able to judge that antelope while you're getting out of sight so you can go put a stock on it.
Have you ever glassed out of your car while it's driving? With a pair of binoculars? Have you ever tried it?
Yeah,
I'm sure you
probably.
tried
I'm
work, right?
immediately laid out, vertigo, can't do it. I would never do
those
that.
16s, I'm looking through while you're driving.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
The one thing that you said that's kind of winning me over is just, if you're out hiking, you're hiking a drainage, there's a lot of times when you may not just pull out your binos and glass just because you're not as steady, right? You save those for your long glassing sessions.
Yeah.
But if you do have the ability to hit a little button and you're a lot more steady and you're glassing the entire way on, into your glassing point, you might pick up something that you might not otherwise. So that one I can kind of see.
Where I can really see it is dark timber elk hunts in
Yeah.
the rut. You know what I mean? Just picking them up real quick, not having to worry about it, looking 100, 120 yards through the trees.
You would
Those
want
tens
some
of
Picking that
Those
movement up,
tens.
that's what I
Or the
really think
10s
of.
And the weight.
Yeah, they're light.
So I carry my 16s and my 10s, and both pairs together are lighter than my 12s, my Vortex 12 by 52s.
Gotcha.
Considerably lighter, both pairs. I carry my 16s in my pack, got my 10s in my harness, and then if I'm in long country, I'll switch them out, pull my 16s out, throw my 10s back in there. I'm carrying the same weight as a regular pair of binoculars, and those 10s, they're almost like kid binoculars. They're almost like when I first got them, I'm like, these are gimmicky. There's no way these are legit. They're like a football stadium type binocular, right?
They do look funny.
Yeah, but oh man, they're game changing for me. And
I leave in less than 2 weeks for my first time to try them. So I'll see
you
if you
taking
guys are
them?
lying. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Full switch.
I think I'm gonna wait for the Swaro Pure image stabilizations, and then I'll buy
Those
them.
are you know they're coming.
They got to be right.
Yeah.
I would think. I don't know, but it is interesting.
I don't know how any of these companies can stay away from it much longer. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been proven. I mean, it's Sig's kind of the only really one that's doing.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other like bird watching type.
Yeah,
ones,
what
but-
I remember, it has been around for a long time because I remember like back in the day, those ultra high end mule deer guys, like the freaks about the desert and all that stuff. They would fly their parrot planes and they would have the gyroscope binoculars.
The
Yeah,
size
those-
ones.
Yeah, it's
those
been around.
cannons.
And I remember this
Cannons
back
and
when I
size.
was a kid. Like you'd hear about the guys flying the strip and their parrot planes, and then have the gyroscopes.
Yeah.
This is 15 years ago, 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Because
it's
they
like
were
it's
staying
been
in the plane, right?
Yeah, so they could just be in their plane flying and they'd be able to lock on and look at a deer. And that's when I first remember hearing about those. I'm like, man, that sounds pretty cool.
Well,
Well,
that's-
now it's like in the handhelds. I mean, it's only a matter of time before it's everywhere, I think.
And I've tried my best not to talk about them that much.
I know, but you
like,
know what?
I always morally I owe it to myself to explain everything. I try to, except when it comes to like mapping and where I'm actually.
We're here for the people, Brady.
We're here for the people.
If you
as Renz
find a
always
piece
says.
of
Well, you
gear
know,
like
I'm
that,
starting
we
to
got
talk
to
about.
talk
I'm
about it.
starting opening up more some of my strategies and some of the optics I use because I definitely.
Well,
love them.
that it's funny. Like when I built this e-scouting course, I was the same way. I really was torn. You know, like, do I really want to make it worse for me out there than it already is?
Yeah.
But, once I got older, once I got in my, started getting 50, I'm like, I love this sport so much that, man, I wish there would have been some of this stuff available for me.
Yeah.
And, what it really came down to me was I'd rather share the mountains with guys that are a little more knowledgeable than guys that have no idea how the wind works, no idea how thermals works, no idea, those kinds of things.
Yeah, because that's going to impede your hunt if you're hunting with other people who don't know about those things.
Exactly. And it's just, and now that I've been doing it for 3 years, the testimonies I'm getting, the pictures I'm getting, the just long letters of thanks, it's pretty rewarding. And I've enjoyed this journey. And so I'm kind of an open book. I mean, what little I know, I'm willing to share that I wasn't used to. I used to be like Lampers, of course, not telling anybody nothing, anything ever. He would just take and never give. Lampers was a one-way street. It was like all this information would come in, but nothing would go out. And but even he, now that he's got the summits, and we're doing courses together. I mean, we've just gotten more, I guess, giving. We enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy it. I get a lot out of it.
Do you feel like since, and we'll dive a little deeper here for the whole reason that you're here, but I'm curious as to, as time's gone past, I would say specifically like in the last 5 years or so, there's gotten to be a lot more education into this type of stuff, e-scouting, how to look at a landscape, what you should be looking for. I mean, I think about the amount of content that we do and you guys do. Do you feel like there's that many more people out in your spots that wouldn't have been prior?
Not really.
Not really?
You guys, you can teach people, but they still got to hike the 5 miles.
Mm-hmm.
They still got to climb the mountains. They still got to get in shape. They still got to buy the tags. They still got to, I mean, I don't know if you guys, this society has gotten so weak. We've had things so good for so long that the hunting population, I just don't. Now, backcountry hunting is a little more sexier than it used to be, I'll admit.
Yeah, 100%.
But like states like Missouri and Pennsylvania, you're starting to see massive declines in some of these hunting. The kids aren't interested anymore, and it's not being passed on like it used to be passed on. Now, the West is pretty sexy, right, for backcountry. I do agree. There's definitely a surge, but I don't know that I see any more than I used to, really. And honestly, I like it. I like the challenge of it. I mean, we were just talking. I was sharing some hunting spots earlier, and I don't go to the same hunting spots. I just don't. And my friends get a little ticked off about it sometimes. Like, man, that spot last year was incredible. I'm like, oh, that's already been checked off the list, boys. And I'm a new spot guy. So if I've gotten good at e-scouting, it's because I'm constantly developing new places. I mean, I was just telling him, I think less than 3 or 4 times in my entire 34 years of big game hunting, I've gone back to the same spot. And my list of where I want to go, I can't live with that. My list is bigger than my life. And so maybe my son will pick it up where I drop off. But yeah, I'm an adventurer, man. There's nothing I like better than rolling into a trailhead in the dark, hiking in the dark with my lamp to a place I've never been and killing a bull that day. I mean, it's just like, that to me, that's the ultimate reward. To me, that's when you have come into your own. I think that's when you can do that every now and then. You can't do it all the time, but when it does happen, it's pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm driven by that new adventure as well.
love it.
I do go back to older spots just because, they produce, and when you're taking other people hunting, you want to go to a place that for sure produces. But man, I love the new, like walking into a new place, drawing a new tag you've never been. I love that.
Now, bear hunting, we typically we do try to go back some of the same because we're targeting. I mean, we got these bears named,
bear, yeah.
We got like Red Lightning and Chocolate 2.0 and Dark Thunder. I mean, all these bears that we kind of try to go after.
Yep.
So that's kind of fun to go back and get these mature bears that we didn't get the year before. But when it comes to elk and deer, and maybe I'll change now with my son, because my son's 13 now, and he's just starting to get really interested in and doing it on a high level. I mean, his shooting skills.
You should talk about his shooting skills real
next
quick.
level.
When we were at
All
the
of a
summit,
sudden, the boy can shoot like.
what was that? Was that 800 yards you were shooting or 700?
868.
Yeah,
And he
literally,
shot a gun he's never shot,
yeah.
and he shot 7 times at a 10-inch plate at 868. Hit 6 out of 7 times.
It's remarkable. It's laying down,
14
smacking
mile an
them,
hour wind.
smacking them in the evening.
We were watching on the spikes. That bullet would curve out in the wind and drop out, like literally from outer space, and bam, right into that play. I'm like, dang.
You did notice though what kept happening. People were starting to make fun of your shooting skills. Like he definitely didn't learn it from you.
You notice I wasn't laying down shooting. So, you know, it's like the hiking too.
Yeah.
So we're hiking, and he's with me. We're walking for a while, and Dad, I really like hiking with you, but you think I could try to catch Barney and Sam? I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, go after. And he just left me.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, you know, I'm not gonna let him just dust me. I'm gonna crank it up a little. After about 5 minutes, I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work out.
Yeah.
And that boy just rolled off into the sunset, and he catches Sam, catches him, and then he tries to search past him. In the story, obviously I wasn't there, and then Sam surged, Sam Davis, and then all of a sudden they're practically running. And they get back to the house, and Eli's face is just red. He's sweating, and Brian comes up to me and goes, man, your son. And he goes, that boy likes to just turn it up. He goes, but we weren't going to let him beat us. And so it's cool to see these kids develop like that, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's when I've talked about this a lot, but when your son goes out with you, he's used to you, right? They'll complain more. But when they're with another man, where there's the respect, he rises to a new level. Just like with that shooting, he got to lay down with Brady and Olin and some of those other guys, next level guys, and he was just in his zone in that, right? If it had been me, I don't know that he would have been that.
He'd been more passive.
Yeah, been more passive. Exactly, that's a good word.
The thing that amazed me though about him is he was so calm. Like there's a lot of people watching. There was a ton of people watching. He would shoot. He wouldn't even get excited. Be like, all right, just loads another one in. Like, no, there's no smile even. He was like, I just hit that, and I know I did, and I'm going to hit it again. Like, he had confidence, but like, he was willing to learn too. Like, you're giving him tips, and he was just soaking it up, not trying to develop bad habits. He was soaking up everything to make a better shot. It was
His
really cool
trigger
to see.
pull is just, I wish he could do it in archery. He's terrible at the bow. He's a trigger punching fool with the bow, but that gun, he can move that trigger like so smooth.
He's that new Stanislavski.
And
Yeah.
Hey, it's
But
like
anyway,
he's
he
like
was-
Brady, all about the gun, the gun trigger.
I didn't tell you Brady, but he was so upset. Like once he started shooting, because he was kind of the first guy. Olin took him, and then everybody started coming around. They started hearing the steel. Because what was happening, we were all in the tent, right? You'd hear the boom, ding. You're like, well, that was a shot. So everybody started coming around because of the delay, right? So by that point, there's a few people, and then here comes Brady. Let's shoot a mile. And
I want to stretch it out.
screw this 868. Let's start shooting a mile. So they found some rocks. He wanted to do that mile so bad, but by that point, all these dudes were laying
He
down.
should have asked. He literally could have used. He could have used my
I
gun.
almost said something, but
My gun was dialed. He
He,
could've
he
just-
wanted to do it so bad, but he didn't get a chance.
Oh, I'm
How'd
mad
you
now.
shoot
I
in
didn't
front
know
of the
that.
crowd?
Oh, he rang it at a mile.
Oh, it
Like,
took me
within-
3 shots to hit a mile. But all my 3 shots were like you would have killed an animal.
That's the Brady I know.
And the last shot
It was
was
like 3
literally.
inches, like that.
That's the Brady I know.
And the problem was I missed the first 2. I was changing my dope earlier because for everything my dope seemed to be different when I was shooting at what was I shooting at 1,400 yards earlier, and I had to change something. And I don't know why I changed it. I think it was,
Because you're a tinkerer. That's what you do.
and then I went back to shooting. Like I went back to my dope after
Yeah.
the dope I should have been using earlier, and then it just hit right away.
Yeah.
So it's like
You and Trail are tinkerers. I am not. I don't
I don't know if it's the
I don't want to
conditions or
tinker.
whatnot, but
Don't even think about it.
yeah.
Well, now I've got to become better. I got to get my reloading. I got to get all my game because my boy's ready to
Ready to
start
go.
shooting.
Sounds like it.
Taking a kid to a summit is an expensive endeavor because now he has.
Oh, dude.
Now he's got the
Fat
bug.
Mike.
Now he wants that. He wants a custom gun. He wants proof barrels. He wants like.
That's good. It's a good thing to have, though.
It is.
I mean, the
And
alternative.
you know what? You could have a lot worse habits.
Yeah.
I'll buy. Well, I'll make all the sacrifices that need to be made if he keeps wanting to pursue that
Yeah.
that angle. When he starts coming to me and telling me he wants the latest Xbox and then
That's it. Yeah, when they find it,
that stuff does not float my boat. Right?
Yeah,
I'm
when they
like,
find an endeavor that they're really passionate about and it's good for them, just generally, you just gotta support it.
when he starts coming and say, I want the new 6.5 PRC. I want this. I want that.
Okay.
All right.
What if he comes up to you and says, "Hey, Dad, I want a 70-inch TV and the fastest computer possible because I want to do e-scouting every single day."
Well, now that would be good. But
What if he just wants to sit there and just e-scout on a giant screen?
if he says, I want to hook my Xbox to it, you know, it's funny. He doesn't even. He has an Xbox, and his mom is very tight on the screen time stuff, but he really hasn't gone so far. He's been pretty into the other things. So, but it's funny to watch. He really wasn't all that interested until about 11 years old. Something clicked then, and it was really the summits. To be honest, took him to the first couple summits, and he started shooting with. He doesn't want, and he always apologizes, Dad. Do you care if I shoot with Brian and Sam? I'm like, no, dude. You know, he almost thinks that, but he wants to put himself in that high stress.
Yeah,
I think that's a good thing.
rare.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. The father-son, you're his father, right? It's passive between you two. There's unconditional love. There's the respect is already there. It's there, right? It's your son. It's your dad. When you get out of that, that's when you start becoming something. Like that's when you start finding what you have. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think you put your boy in with some other high quality men
Yeah.
that don't cut him any slack.
Yeah.
Like now, Brian kind of took him under his wing the first year until he kind of realized that Eli was going to stay with him, and now Brian tries to put him down. I mean, you know, Brian's pretty competitive. He doesn't say it, but if Eli starts getting on the front, Brian says no, and then he goes, we literally were almost running by the time we got back to the house.
That's awesome.
And so anyway, it's good. I think it's good to put those kids in that environment.
Yeah. No, that's cool. He's how many kids do you have?
Well, I have a 28-year-old daughter that just got married and having her baby.
Wow.
I'm going to be
A grandpa.
Grandpa lives.
Grandpa lives.
And then, so that was my first wife. Then I got divorced and married a super young wife.
Right.
And so then I had my next round of kids when I was older. So I have a 10 and a 13-year-old.
There you go. That's good. That's what I got a 10 and a 13 and an 18.
But you're like 20 years younger than me. So
Yeah, I don't know. How old are you?
57.
I'll be 44.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit younger.
Trail's just spry, man. Trail's like a 20-year-old. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
He's
But,
like
you know-
Benjamin Button. He's going backwards.
I wish.
I do think I'm a more patient dad and as an older. I was kind of a piece of work in my 30s. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest. I was kind of a piece of work. And once I grew up and had these kids later in life, it's been a real blessing. That's what happens when you marry a young wife.
Sure. Keep you young.
That's right.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, how would you describe yourself as far as like being known within this industry? Like,
Dude, I'm a newcomer. I mean, I was one of those guys. I have only had Instagram for 3 years.
okay.
And I don't even have grip and grins of, I'd say 75% of the animals I killed, I don't even have photos. I just that was not my gig.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do any social media. I didn't do anything like that. I just hunted. And I've always been a tech guy, like real heavy in the tech. I have a computer science degree. Believe it or not, biochemistry and computer science.
Really?
How weird is that? Being in the event business and now in the hunting industry. It's just weird, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm kind of the new kid on the block, and so I'm not, I'm getting a little more known now, I guess.
But you mentioned the tech side of it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, and I would say people probably generally know you from your e-scouting courses, right? You had tree line pursuits. I know that you've done a course now for OutdoorClass.
Yeah.
I was just curious as to like what was it about that? How did you get started into e-scouting? Like, at what point did you look at that and go, yeah, I think there's something here that I could have a leg up or an advantage. Like, this could help me.
Well, the big deal was I'm from Missouri. I lived in Missouri my whole life. And I worked for an organ tissue bank. So remember, I had a biochemistry degree.
Yeah.
I was going to med school. I moved to Columbia, Missouri from Springfield, Missouri to go to medical school. And I was working for an organ recovery agent. I was doing recoveries. Bone, skin, eyes, different things, right? That from cadaveric donors.
So you were doing the the actual extraction?
Oh yeah, doing the. I was
Really?
on the removal team. Yeah, extraction team.
This is something I know a lot about you. I never
Yeah,
heard this
I know.
story
I
of you.
completely
25
agree.
years. I've worked there 25
I've
years.
I know you, but
Mostly
this
eyes. Mostly eyes. Believe it or not,
How do you take an eye out?
it's really simpler than you think.
Is it like
four
taking an eye out of
there's four
a
muscles.
euro?
There's 4 muscles, and then you take a pair of curved scissors, cut the optic nerve. Boom.
Watch out, trail might
out.
faint.
No reservation with that ever? Like you?
There's so many stories I could tell you, but so back in the old days, we used to do it at the morgue a lot. Meaning morgues are funeral homes because I don't know if you guys want to get this.
No, I'm interested.
I'm genuinely interested. I
We
know a
can
lot
go back
about
to
you,
the-
just like
we,
Brady
we
said.
can go back to the other.
Okay.
in a
Never
minute.
heard this.
I want to hear this.
So I mainly work for an eye tissue bank, and but we partnered with other like Red Cross Bone and Skin. We was on a lot of different recoveries, but mainly eyes was our specialty. Whatever. But in those back in the day, now I think it still happens a little bit today, but I've been out of it for a while. But the eyes are viable for transplant. Not the whole eye, guys, just the cornea, just the front part. It's viable for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours after death, depending on the situation. If the body can be kept cool, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of times, the bodies would be transported to the funeral home. So remember, this is back in the late 80s, early 90s. No cell phones. I remember when we got our first bag phone. You guys remember those? But in those days, we used pay phones.
Yeah,
And we had pagers. I mean, I know some of you are like, what is that?
a beeper.
Yeah. And so I'd get a beep and they'd give me a number. I call and like, you got a donor. It's at the Bolivar Funeral Home. I'm like, okay, it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, okay. So I head out by myself, drive to the funeral home, meet the embalmer usually. He says, hey, when you get done, just shut the door and, it's 2 in the morning.
Yeah, lock up on your way
Let me
out.
paint the picture for you. You're going down the stairs in a funeral home by yourself to the morgue with multiple bodies, got all the toe tags, you double check, do your paperwork, do your removal, and then you leave.
Yeah,
It took a little while to get used to that, right?
yeah, I can imagine.
Every Halloween movie you've ever seen, every horror movie, you can't hardly keep it from playing in your mind, right?
Yeah.
Now, after hundreds and hundreds of recoveries, you kind of get used to it, but that's what I did for 25 years.
I have no chance. I'm going down those stairs. I'll be like, yeah, I'm out. This
So
is for
here's
me.
what's funny. Men. So eventually I became second in command of the company. I wasn't doing recoveries anymore. I worked there a long time. But anyway, when we trained new techs, the men were the worst. Because the men would come in and be like, this doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
I'm a badass. I'm tough. The minute they pull that sheet back and they see that dead body half burnt or whatever it is, they'd hit the floor like bam so often.
Wow.
But the girls, the women, were amazing because they would be so freaking scared, and they have conjured up so many things that this was going to be that when it was actually better than they had imagined it being. So it was almost a relief, right? So it was like, oh, this ain't so bad.
yeah.
What I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, they let their mind get ahead of them.
They
where the
almost
men
got
try
carried
to.
away. The men were like,
Ego got in the way.
and they
all
would
that.
just hit the floor right and left. And you could tell you'd look around, everybody's, we're all gown and gloved. And the guys, they start kind of weaving a little, and you're like, you need to sit down like right now.
Wow.
And so we would take, this was mostly kids that were like trying to build their resume to get into med school and stuff like that. Was most of our techs that we had working for us.
That's a odd job.
Like unreal.
I
And
mean,
we did a couple thousand transplants a year.
wow.
My goodness.
So that was in Missouri?
That was in Missouri. So we got deviated there. So my boss at the time at this eye bank was a researcher, real analytical dude. And he says, we're big whitetail hunters, right? I've always been a big whitetail hunter. He goes, I was probably, 22 or 3. He said, hey, let's go elk hunting. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. There was no resources back then, right? We literally went to the library, checked out topo maps, start pouring over topo maps in Colorado, find some random spot. We go out there. Our first hunt, we went in a minivan, 2-wheel drive minivan.
Yes.
We lost every hubcap. I don't know how many tires we bought on that trip, but I killed a cow elk that first trip by a total accident. She committed suicide. I mean, she literally ran right up to me. I was on a stump. She ran right up to me. I shot her here to that bear.
She's a donor.
I literally,
She's a donor.
with my bow, when she came around the tree, I had to lean back to keep her from knocking the arrow off my wrist.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't even look at my, I just kind of, put it on her and pulled the trigger. And she ran down the, this is embarrassing. She ran down the hill, ran right behind the van.
Nice.
That's how close it was.
That's what we call a trophy
the blood
cow.
trail was on the road across that, and that I was hooked. I'm like, oh, and I was hooked. So 19 years in a row, we hunted together in Colorado, my first 19. But the point was, I became very obsessed with these topo maps and starting to figure out where we were finding elk and how did the terrain match up, right? So right in the very early days, I started trying to make these deductions on why elk were in certain places. And I had no idea. There was no method to it. I was just trying to figure it out, right? Certain elevations, certain benches, certain how far from the road, all these things we know now. But in those days, I had no clue. There was no podcast. There was nothing. And what people don't realize that live out in the West is in Missouri, when you go into the bar to have a beer, nobody's talking about elk hunting.
No?
Nobody. It's whitetails, right?
Yeah.
But in Montana, when I get,
everybody.
Oh, where you hunting this year? What state? What tags you drawing? What state you put? It's nonstop big game hunting, right, with all my friends. But my friends in Missouri, whitetail. So the learning curve, obviously, huge. Well, then that's about the time Google Earth came out. And so it was $3.99.
I remember paying for it as well.
I know. I was like, that was a lot of money back then.
Yep.
And all it did was aerial photos. And so bought it, and that revolutionized my work. Now I had Google Earth with my topo maps, and I would mark up my topo maps like I do markup now. So now it's a lot different, but all my markup schemes are my symbols. I was doing it in a crude way on printed maps. And when I was done, I would take packing tape and tape over the map to waterproof it or semi-waterproof it. And you know how it is. As soon as you get out there, you're not on the map. You see an elk and you don't even have a map. So then I got lost in Colorado for 3 days. I made a mistake. I killed a bull. I thought I could take a shortcut. I made a big mistake. And I kept walking at night, which is a mistake.
Yep.
Everything you could do wrong, I did. Ended up being lost for 3 days. They rallied the troop force. Everybody was getting search and rescue. It was a bad deal. So the next year is when Eagle Lowrance came out with that first GPS unit. I still have it. I should have brought it. I keep wanting to bring it on a podcast. It's about this long. It's got this big flip open screen, right? Holds 16... No, maybe 8.
D batteries?
8 AA batteries.
Oh, yeah.
And literally when you turn it on, you can see the battery start to go down, right? And all it would do was you could put a waypoint in and it would tell you the bearing, like 180 degrees. So we just walk. And every once in a while we turn it on. Oh, shit. It's 120 degrees now and we're halfway there. Shut it. But there was no navigate. You know how it was. So that's kind of how I started was... I have probably 20 or 30 GPS units, all of the progression up to the Onyx chip, to now obviously the apps, to go all the things that we have now. So I guess in a way it was good for me because I've always been a tech guy, but I got to learn all these tools from the very ground floor. And so really kind of fast forward today, when I built my e-scouting course, I teach people how to build out Google Earth, how to put all of the data into Google Earth. Because, it doesn't come with all this data, right? And some of you guys already do it, right? But I couldn't believe how many people don't. I thought everybody did.
I probably don't. I'm sure I don't.
You don't have all the fires, the livestock allotments,
Yeah.
the roads, the trails, the wilderness areas, the unit boundaries, the snow levels, the current fires, the topography, all that stuff can be put into Google Earth. but you have to go get it and you have to style it and you have to organize it. So I taught people how to do it in the course. Well, I started getting email after email after email like, Livesay, this, I'm having trouble with this. I'm having trouble. Like, it's not rocket science. But it was difficult for people. And so then I decided to build them and make them available. So that's my latest project is I'm building these toolkits to go with Google Earth. So the way I set my whole e-scout thing up is like I'm a dual monitor or a 4 monitor. Depends on, you know, sometimes I run 4, some 2, but I have GOHUNT web app and I have Google Earth. And I use them in tandem, guys. It's like, you know, I say this all the time is you got to use the right tool for the right job. So for example, Google Earth is not going in the field with you. It's pre-hunted. That's all it can be done.
Yeah.
But when you partner it with your hunt platform and you use GOHUNT, the terrain analysis, the elevation bands, man, I mean, those are, when I'm using those in tandem with my other tools on Google Earth, I feel like it's the ultimate winner. Then I use Gaia too. I use a couple of other tools mixed in. And, but the point is, all these tools have superpowers. But like you guys are adding more features all the time, right? But it's not where we want it to be yet, but it's going to be. But in the meantime, we just keep using additional tools. Like now we got historical imagery in GOHUNT.
Yeah.
You know, we've got new things. But in the meantime, you know, I hope Google Earth is, we talked about this when we had lunch. Someday Google Earth will be obsolete. But at the moment, I feel like it's a partnership right now.
I would agree.
App.
And our job is to make, for a hunter, Google Earth obsolete. That's our
right.
job at GOHUNT.
Well, because
And we're working on it.
Google Earth is lit, guys. We're talking about Google Earth Pro, the installation application version. They don't update it. They don't maintain it. It crashes like crazy.
Crashes all the time.
Now my toolkits don't crash though. I've conquered that problem. Because the problem with Google Earth, I know we're getting a little technical here, but when you start putting in all this data, guys, Google Earth doesn't like it. It's not designed. It never was designed to hold like the entire state of roads. There's 100,000 roads in Montana that are available to download. And when you start putting those giant chunks of files in there, Google Earth can't handle it. So what I did was I created network links. I built all these files, put them on an Amazon server, and made them a linked file. So basically what that means is when you activate it in Google Earth, it retrieves that data at the moment you ask for it from the server. So it's not residing on your computer. So by not having the data on your computer, the crashing was eliminated. And that took me a year to figure that out. That path took me a year to figure out that programming for that. But yeah, that's kind of the setup, and that's kind of the progression of how I got. If I'm good at e-scouting, it's because I had to be.
Yep.
Coming from Missouri, I had no choice. You know, I didn't want to come out 2 weeks in boots. I want to hunt all my vacation. So I just became a student of the game when it came to, you know, like Brady. I've learned it. You know, Brady probably, there's few people that I think probably spend more time scouting than me, and he's one, or e-scouting. But he did a very similar thing. He looks at where all his encounters, mule deer, where he sees them, what slope angles, what slope orientation, and he's developed these theories for mule deer, and that's kind of the same path I took. So I've got 34 years of, you guys, I'm not a giant killer. I'm walking around the GOHUNT here looking at these giant bulls. I'm like, geez Louise, I just went and looked at your wife's bull a while ago. I mean, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a 300-inch bull killer. The problem is I can't let him go by.
Yeah.
I just, here he comes, like, oh yeah. And I get tunnel vision, and now this year I am going to try really hard, but I am pretty good at finding out.
I honestly think, Trail, you would know. Brady, you probably would now by living down here for so long. But like, the Southwest it's kind of different for bulls. Like when you have a tag down here, you don't see as many little bulls you know what I mean? Like, you don't have. I mean, you have encounters with small bulls, but like not not like that. Not up.
It just depends on the type of tag that you've got. I mean, you've got a Utah elk tag or Arizona elk tag or
Nevada elk tag.
Nevada,
I mean,
Mexico, any of those. I mean, your age class is just that much better. You've got that many
the
more.
mineral, the growth, but
Yeah.
And if you do see a 300-inch bull, there's probably one bigger with it. You know what I mean? Like that's just it's kind of a Southwest thing.
Yeah,
now, granted, we don't get as many elk tags as you guys do. I would love to kill.
Not as much opportunity.
Yeah, I'd love to kill a 300-inch bull every single year than have it tagged once every 7 years down here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my thing, guys. I mean, I'd love to kill a 400-inch bull someday, maybe, but I can't remember. This is the fewest elk tags I've had since I moved to Montana. I have 2. I only have 2. I told my wife, I'm like,
It's 2 more than I've got right now.
I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself. I'm like, honey, I got 2 elk tags. This is like, I mean, I've had 5. I've had 6 one year.
Gosh dang.
And now that was a disaster. That was my worst elk hunting year ever. Because I was constantly having to move to the next hunt. Like I just start to figure things out. I'm like, oh, crap, I got to be in New Mexico by tomorrow. And then I got to be in Utah, but then I got to be. Oh man, that was a terrible. As sexy as that sounded, that was stressful.
We've talked about it a lot.
Yeah, we have.
Similarly, I think the best seasons I've ever had personally, just in terms of success and then just satisfaction of a hunt, it's when I've had fewer permits and I've hunted harder, longer days. I'd rather have 1 tag and hunt 10 days than 2 tags and hunt 5 and 5. It just takes time to figure it out sometimes. And I mean, you talk about bigger bulls. I mean, you've got more time consistently to put into 1 tag, whether it's e-scouting. If you're trying to e-scout for 5 tags,
you're not doing very good, guys. You're not doing a very good job,
You're not doing it
right?
justice versus 1 tag. You can really do it due diligence, maybe potentially even get boots out on the ground. Then when you get out there and hunt, you've got 10 days blocked out to just hunt that. So
well, like this year,
I totally get it.
My Montana tag this year, I've got probably, I'm having like decision paralysis right now. I've got probably 9 or 10 hunt plans worked out already.
Let's dive into that.
I can't even decide, okay, man, this one looks good, but I've done so much work because I don't have to work on 3 or 4 tags.
Sure.
This is a new area, I've never been there before. Never hunted for elk before anyway. But there's probably not a trail or a road or a drainage that I have not looked at in Google Earth. And it's a blessing and a curse because now I've got like 3 or 4 that I'm really, really, really gung-ho about. Mm-hmm. And then, unfortunately, I never do boots on the ground. Never. But this year I did. Mm-hmm. I've driven to this spot and seen some giants. Well, that even made it worse. Because now I've got these spots, and then I saw some bulls, and I'm like, oh, man, this bull's big. Well, this bull's big, and he's too close to the road. Like, I feel like there's going to be hunters all over him, and do I want to invest on this one, or do I want to go ahead and pack in 12 miles with my llamas? So I know this is real world. This is third world problems, right? But I'm excited. So my wife always tells me, the reason you don't kill big bulls is because you have too much time to hunt. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, you text me all the time, like, you're not excited about killing anything for the first 14 days.
Yeah.
I hunted elk last year for like 60, 65 days. And she goes, that's your detriment. When you came from Missouri, you were in kill mode from day one. She was like, I noticed in you, like, you'd be like, I'm on this bull, I'm going to kill him tomorrow. And I never get those texts from you now. You're like, well, I'm laying up here looking at bulls, drinking coffee.
You're on a camping trip.
Maybe I'll go down there. Maybe I won't.
Yeah.
Because I know I got another month. So I think I've gotten lazy. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I think I've gotten a little bit lazy because I'm blessed to have so much time. Yeah. And Montana, the season's ridiculously long.
It is ridiculous.
And even Wyoming's ridiculous. Idaho's long. All these states that I kind of rotate in have long seasons. And maybe that's hurting me a little too as I've got my llamas. I'm not hurting for nothing. I got tons of food, tons of everything.
Yeah, and it might just be the stage you're in. You might just enjoy the journey more.
Yeah. I'm older. Yeah. I'm more patient.
Yeah.
I'm not so wired all the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm loving it, and I'm blessed. I get to spend a lot of time doing it. But I was talking to those guys earlier. It's like I don't go back to the same spot. So one, I came from Missouri, so I had to get good at it just by force. But the second was, I think, one of the bigger ones is that I don't hunt the same places twice.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lorenzo was saying, I'm an adventurer, and that forces me to constantly develop new hunt plans. So you're getting ready to ask me a question.
Yeah, I was going to
about
ask you.
plans.
Say, I wouldn't say that I put together. I'm not a very good planner in terms. I'm good at picking areas. I'm good at picking, glassing points. I'm good at like looking at a map. Topo, aerial. I'm good at looking areas, and then I'm a whole lot better once I get out on the ground. I get boots on the ground.
You're a phenomenal hunter.
I'm a lot better hunter than I'm a
hunter.
scouter or e-scouter. But I was curious, I wouldn't say I put together a very good plan. So I was.
See, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's not true.
I don't know.
Because you got it right here. Lampert says the same thing. Ryan Lampert says the exact same thing. But what you have is you just can look at it. You don't know why, when you pull up Google Earth, you don't even know why you start to look over here and why you start to look over here and why is this a good spot versus this spot. It's all that knowledge you have, and it's that intuition and experience. And so for guys that don't get to do it that much, they don't have that innate ability. So you're working your hunt plan out, but it's all just here.
Yeah, I'm not putting it on.
You're
my
not putting it
screen
on
while
paper
it's-
because you
Yeah.
don't
Good
really
point.
have to.
It's a really good point.
Yeah.
You don't really have to. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But
No, you're good. It's a good point. Yeah, I think you're right. But I was curious as to you, like when you have a Montana elk tag, you said
Yep.
that you never hunt the same place twice.
Yep.
What's your first step? Like, how do you approach that? Like, what layers? I mean, what's important to you? What are you thinking about out the gate?
Well, I'm going to sound like a sales tool here, but my initial steps are almost what my OC class is, my new outdoor class that's just getting ready to come out in the next few days. There's a lot of my initial stages in that class. One of them, there's a whole module dedicated to flyover tours, and I do these like all the time. And what I mean by that is, one of the things that Google Earth is really good at is drone view flyovers. But it's not set up for hunting. Google Earth was not built for hunters.
Yeah.
I mean, we like to think it was. If they knew we were killing things using their platform, they'd probably shut it down.
They would.
But so the settings that Google Earth comes with are totally jacked up. The default settings is what I mean for hunters. But so when they get it and they start messing with it, it doesn't really do what they want it to do, and they kind of lose interest. But if you know how to set a few things, and I'm just going to rattle these off. I know we're not doing a demo, but this is covered in my OC course.
Yeah.
So
do it. Yeah. Any questions
there's
that you
a
might have,
function,
get the OC course.
it's a pretty little known function. Do you use it? Yeah, I
I've
know you
done the
do.
flyover quite a bit.
Should I say this? Is this
No,
a
you
secret? Okay.
We're here for the people. Say it all.
So basically, you take Google Earth and you take the path tool and you drag the path tool. Like, let's say you're just interested in this basin, this big bowl. It's a spoon drainage, meaning this big basin with the canyon facing to the north. Those are some of my favorites, right? For elk, for archery elk. And I'll draw the line like up the ridge, just wherever. Okay, just draw this big 20-mile line through this whole area, kind of through all the area that I'm interested in. And then I go at the very bottom in Google Earth, there's a little function called Play Tour. And you can play that tour from that line. But before you do that, you have to go to the settings under I think it's a tour tab. This is all memory at this point. And you set your camera angle 60 degrees. You set your elevation to 1,200 meters, and you set the speed to 600. That's my setting. That's what I like the most. Now you can play with those in Justin or whatever, but what that does, it's like the camera at 60 is like you're flying, looking out the front window of the drone or the airplane, right? Let's think you're flying you were talking about flying and looking for mule deer. You're flying along. That's what they're doing. They're flying at about 1,000, 1,200 feet, and they're looking out, right? So you're setting the camera up in Google Earth to those settings. But what's really not known is how to run the tour. You can set these settings, right? And there's no button, there's no menu item, it's a little tiny thing down in the panel, in the My Places panel. It's down in the lower right corner of that, and it's you click on it, it says Play Tour, but you have to have the path selected. So you select the path, hit Play Tour. Googler does its thing. It rotates 3D. It sets the camera 60, goes up 1,000 feet, and it flies that line at 600. And I just sit back in the chair, and I just watch as it flies, and I just start absorbing. I usually have a notepad. I'm like, maybe I'm making some notes. I'll stop the tour. You can just pause it. I'll drop a pin, restart it, and I'll do that 8, 9, 10 times. You will be shocked with what you start to
Pick
see.
up.
Like, oh, look how that meadow wraps around to that north side. There's that, man, that's a beautiful looking bench there. You might not have picked it up just scanning around, right? But letting it just fly, and it really is like a drone flying your country.
Gotcha.
And you can play with the elevation, you can play with the speed, you can play with the camera tilt, but the key is to get it set up kind of in that range. And is that kind of what your theory is on save numbers virtually?
Using the flyover and just scanning around. You want to learn the unit like the back of your hand.
Man.
That's basically what you're trying to do right away. Is like what catches your eye.
I feel like when I do that a lot, when I pull up there, I feel like, man, I've been here before.
Gotcha.
I mean, I kind of know it. So when I'm looking at a new area, I'm doing those a lot. I run them, and then I'll tweak the line. Like, I want to look at it from this way, or I'll fly the line in reverse. All kinds of tactics, right? Sky's the limit. Once you know how to do that little process, but guys, there's almost no, you can Google it till you're blue, and there's almost no information about that little function.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, a lot of times I've got GOHUNT on my other screen while I'm doing the flyovers, and I'm looking at the topo view, and I'm kind of looking at some of the terrain. Well, how steep is that? Well, I can see it on this. So again, using them in tandem. I can't think of a time that I've ever done a lot of e-scouting work with one window open, with one screen open. Would you agree? I mean, rarely do I pull one tool up. When I sit down at my computer, I literally open up CalTopo, GOHUNT, Gaia, Google Earth, arrange my screen, and go to work. That's kind of my process. I don't start off with GOHUNT or Google and just, that's all I got. Rarely. I get everything set up, and then I start working.
And you kind of know, I would assume, as you're flying that, you're doing the tour, you've got built-in features that you're looking for. You mentioned benches.
I'm looking for the 12 features. So I look for 12 things when it comes to elk. I have 12 criteria.
Okay.
And those 12, you're not going to ever find a spot. Well, I haven't found a spot that has all 12. But what I'm looking for, I call this odds multiplication. What I'm looking for is areas that have multiples of those 12. So fires is one. Elk and fires just are synonymous, right? And I'm actually adding a 13th one, is edge habitat. Because I'm starting to learn that, fires is obviously edge habitat. Beetle kill is obviously edge habitat. But in general, edge habitat is prime. So I'm in the process of kind of retooling some of my stuff to add a 13th factor. But fires, beetle kills, log outs, those are criteria. Obviously water in some areas, that's one. Benches, I'm very focused on exact benches, not just benches, very specific benches that meet certain criteria. Guys, all benches are not created equal when it comes to elk hunting. In my guys, this is all my opinion. I just want to be clear on that. This may not be everybody's opinion. I like benches that are more than halfway up the slope. I really like them 3/4 of the way. And I like them above a drainage with no trail in the bottom. And I like them on north, northeast, northwest slopes. And I like them where it's super, super steep above the bench and super, super steep below the bench. When all that lines up, I get excited about that bench.
Right.
So that's just benches. Canyons is one of them. Canyons and drainages is I evaluate very carefully for me. I look at them very, very specifically, and I have a whole bunch of factors. Meadows, feeding environments. I have 10 rules in my course that I absolutely live by when it comes to meadows. 10 rules that I never break. I shouldn't say never, but I've just got to be overwhelming reasons that I'll break them. For example, the biggest meadow in the area. Like when you look at Google Earth, the biggest meadow in the area, I scratch off the list. right off the bat because every hunter sees that.
Yeah.
It's a hunter magnet.
Yeah.
Any meadows that trails are running to them, where there's on the topo map, that are within 2 miles of the road. I know there's going to be people messing around there. And meadows that are super steep, where they don't hold moisture. You know, serious ridge. There's criteria, right? So when I look at a meadow and it doesn't fall in those 10 rules, I say, okay, that's one of the 12 features.
Gotcha.
So I got 12 of those things that I so when I look for is an area that might have 5 or 6 of the 12. And, you know, historically, and guys, I'm not bragging, but if I can find an area that has 4, 5, 6 of the 12, I absolutely have no doubt that I'm going to run into elk there somewhere. It may take me a day or two to kind of get it figured out, but I know that they're there. I'm that confident in it. But if I see a spot that has 2 or 3 of the features and I'm like, it's slope degree, slope orientation, direction of the slope, and the steepness of the slope are other criterias. But if you can find the spot that has the right canyon and the right slope pitch and the right orientation and the right meadows and has edge habitat, has a burn, has all these things wrapped into it, things are looking good.
Right. You brought up earlier, and you're kind of hitting on it again, the GOHUNT terrain analysis tool. Can you give us an idea on how you're using that? And you're saying things like slow.
Should I say like do a tell all here?
Yes.
Okay.
We're here for the people, right?
The spot I'm looking at right now.
I hold you two accountable. I hold everyone accountable for
this is a
being
good
here for the
podcast.
people.
You guys are going to get a lot for your money on this podcast. So I just uncovered this. Maybe I'm slow. Brady's probably been doing this for a long time. But I'm hunting an area where the terrain is real undulating. Okay, there's no peaks. There's no obvious glassing spots. There's no that just jump out and be like, oh, I got to go there because that's the best view, right? So I've been running view sheds all over this freaking country. And what I mean by view sheds is checking the line of sight, right? What can I see from all these different spots? Well, it's difficult. So what I did was I said, I got to identify the highest spots in these areas. When you just look at the topo map and you got all the numbers, it's hard to tell.
Hard to visualize for sure.
Okay. So in Google Earth, you can drag your mouse around, right? A lot of guys don't realize this, but as you drag your mouse around, hint, I want GOHUNT to be able to do this. As you drag around in the bottom, the elevation is reading live.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's close.
That's a game changer, guys. If you are not doing that, so that's kind of step one. Sometimes I'll just drag around Google Earth, kind of see the high spots, right? But now I've kind of adapted GOHUNT. So what I do in GOHUNT is I go right to the terrain analysis tool, not the elevation bands. Because the elevation bands, they're good, but they're bands, they're ranges, right? So a lot of people think of terrain analysis tool that I can look at north degree slopes, I can look at south. You can, but there's so much more because of all the settings. So I know that the highest spot, Brady knows where I'm going with this already. In this area, I know that about 3,100 to 3,200 is about as high as it is in this area, right? But I need to see all the spots above 3,200.
Set that band,
You
right?
see it? So I go to terrain analysis, I turn on all slope angles, I turn on all slope orientation, and then I set the range to 3,200 and over. Bam. Everything in green, and there's not much. There's just tiny little slivers of green around my area. Then I pull up Google Earth. I pull up Google Earth because I need the USGS topographic map. And I start scanning those high spots. And I start running view shed analysis from those. So you would never be able to pick out those tiny little high spots if you just look at a topo map.
Yeah, especially when you're hunting different terrain features.
Right? When it's not obvious.
No.
Now, when you got 3D and the mountains are big, it's pretty obvious, right? But when you're looking at coulee country or more gentle rolling country, glassing is actually harder, right? Because of the curvature of the hills and things.
Yep.
So that's how I'm using GOHUNT now, is very, very minute ranges, so that basically what I'm saying to say is I want to see the highest little tiny sections in that whole area. And then what I'll do is I'll set it at 32. and I'll make notes. And then I'll go to 31 and I'll make notes. And I'll go to 3,000. And all of a sudden, every time I click down, the amount of green gets more, right? So guys, think about it. I hope you're paying attention to this. As you ratchet up that elevation, the amount of space available is shrinking, right? Yep. So now I've been able to drill into 3 or 4 spots that I can see the entire freaking area from. And I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty good at this stuff.
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them shocked me. 2 or 3, I'm like, I never even realized that was the high spot. Looking at the topo map, it just ran together. Yeah. So that's how I'm using it for this particular hunt. Really good for breaks country, mule deer hunting, elk hunting. That's when you've got this terrain. You know, you think about coulee country, you might have an elevation range of only 200 feet.
Yeah.
That's not a big range to work with. And so glassing spots are really critical in that range. And so anyway, that's kind of how I'm using it. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally.
Sometimes it's hard to describe it on a podcast.
No, it totally makes sense. I think that's like a specific use case scenario that you've kind of pulled out. One that I think I've thought about. I think I have a mule deer tag in Nevada, and I was just doing the same thing that you essentially just described.
But see, the thing is,
a couple days ago.
I want to say this for the listeners. You guys, like, even me, I mean, I'll throw myself in the camp. We've been doing this for so long, it seemed obvious that that's what we would use that tool for.
Yeah.
But the guys that are kind of newer at it, they never would have dreamed to think about isolating it that specifically.
Yeah,
right?
You can isolate your glassing points.
Yeah,
by
you're
basically looking for the high
isolating them
spots.
using this GOHUNT terrain analysis tool, right? So that's the benefit of talking about it. Is like, and that's what I was talking about earlier when I interrupted you. Is like, you just naturally, well, hell yeah, I would do that. It makes sense. But I talk to so many newer hunters that it doesn't even cross their mind that that's something they would do.
Yeah.
And then we also talked about benches. You were mentioning you can use the flats layer on the terrain analysis tool to locate benches.
Yeah, and I've used it quite a bit too, just for elk hunting. Like, you know, you mentioned northeast facing slopes and kind of finding bedding areas and looking for like thick cover. And I've used it just to look at the landscape and just throw on those 2 portions of the landscape so I can just look at it. Like, just visually, I can step back and look at it and be like, okay, these are my northeast facing slopes and kind of where they are in relation to, you know, access or, you know, a bunch of different factors. But I do that visually, just look at it. Just, okay, there's my northeast.
Let's Brady open the door. We'll just
walk in.
We'll say another one. So the benches. Since I've got all the powers that be at GOHUNT, I'm going to use this opportunity to put out my feature request.
Yeah.
So you know how we can drag the elevation to within 100 feet?
Yep.
We need the same thing for slope.
Yeah.
Get rid of those ranges. Let us user define, because then we even got more control of that bench. You can say, I want the flat spots in relation to, I got the flat spots in relation to the steep spots. So remember what I said about I would set it to 32 to highlight these high spots. Well, we're going to do the same reverse engineering process for benches. We're going to set the slope flat. So we're looking for not flat, but
0 to 5
flatter,
degrees.
0 to maybe 15 degrees. And we want only north slopes, north, northeast, northwest, and we want this slope flat, but we got to have it user defined. And then bam, all of the obvious benches, the colors. So then what do you do with that? Well, what I start looking at then in that point is cluster. I call it a cluster effect. So all of a sudden you're looking at your map and you're like, look at all this big mountain range. Look at this. Look at all this 0 to 15 degree over here on this slope. There's 8 or 9 little spots all together. And on this side, there's only one. Well, I like clusters when it comes to elk hunting. But you never would pick that up with your eye. I mean, you might if you were super skilled at looking at topography maps. And that's another thing I take for granted is I've looked at topography maps for 34 years. I can look at a topography map and almost like a road map to me, right?
I would say most people are not that way anymore.
I was at the hunting summit and a guy raised his hand and said, when you say a contour line, what are you talking
what do you
about?
mean?
Like,
What do you mean by a topo
I'm
map?
like, what?
Yeah.
What's an index?
Yeah, I would say most
What's
people.
an interval? When you say a 200-foot index, what's that mean? versus a 600 index versus a
Yeah.
guys. A lot of people don't realize that topo maps are not created equal as well. And in the West, a lot of these maps are 200-foot indexes, right? But if you can go to Glacier National Park, some super steep high country, sometimes they're 400 and 600-foot intervals. So the terrain looks like that looks pretty flat.
Yeah.
Well, it ain't. So you got to pay attention to the index.
Yeah.
You go to Missouri, it's 10. There are 50-foot indexes.
Yeah, lines.
So it looks super steep, right? Like, but it's not that steep.
Yeah.
I mean, over a mile, you only climbed 100 feet.
Yeah.
So you pay attention to those kinds of things when you're doing your work as well, depending on where you're hunting. So I don't know. Those are good tips.
Yeah. One other thing that you brought up earlier is you mentioned historical imagery, and we just kind of really launched our own, historical imagery. Google Earth's had historical imagery, but I was curious as to how are you using historical imagery? Like, give us like 3 tips for using historical imagery or things that you use.
I mean, only 3?
Well, yeah. Well, we'll narrow it down to 3.
All right. So this is when this came out on GOHUNT, I'm probably the terrain analysis and the elevation bands are probably my favorite. And I like to be able to turn the fires off. So my personal 3 favorite GOHUNT features are being able to individually turn those fire layers off.
You're talking by year, right?
By year.
Yep.
I mean, that seems like a no-brainer to me. Nobody does. I don't know. I don't get it. So I love that. I love the terrain and the landscape. I'm finding new ways to even use that tool. And I'm going to start putting the heat on you guys to get me some sliders. But the historical image is another one, okay? So now I know we got a ways to go. I wish it had more images in it. I'm just going to be honest. I like to be honest.
Sure.
We need more than we got, Lorenzo. But it's getting there. At least we got them. At least we got some dates. We're getting there. And so I like historical imagery for lots of reasons, but here's number 1. So when you're looking at, sometimes it depends because some of these images are so old, guys. That's just the way it is. And when you're looking at a 3 to 5 year burn, sometimes there's not even images available in that range, right? But pressure analysis, I spend a lot of time looking at trailheads and trails. So when I'm looking at a trailhead, I want to page back through every image I can get to see how many cars are parked there at all the dates, right? And then I want to zoom in. Are there horse corrals there? How obvious are the trails? All these things. So when I'm looking at pressure, so I use historical imagery a ton for that. So the second thing I use historical imagery for is my favorite place. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but my favorite place to hunt elk is beetle kills.
Yeah.
But it's the most dangerous place to hunt elk too. They are very difficult to navigate.
Jackstraw.
And not only that, just got to know the condition of it, right? Because remember, I don't do boots on the ground.
Yeah.
So I'm going to march in there, and I got to know, are those trees on the ground? Well, 1, is there a beetle kill? Number 2, what's the age of that beetle kill? And number 3, what's the status of those trees? So I have sorry, my voice. I have a whole module in my course dedicated, an 1.5 hour module dedicated just to beetle kills because I geek out on beetle kills. But what I use historical imagery for, we did a little video at the summit on this, is I page back through the years until I see the little brown trees. The little snowflake brown trees tells me that's the beginning of that beetle kill. And I look at the image date. Guys, if you don't have the image date, it means nothing. If you pull up Onyx and you see the little brown trees, it means absolutely nothing because you don't know what year that photo is. You don't know shit. And any of the tools, right? So that's why I had to go to Google Earth because I need the date.
Right.
I need to find the date when that brown occurred. So for example, I'm hunting a spot last year. I page back. It was 2013. I saw the brown. I'm like, okay. 2013, 2023, I feel pretty good about this. Means everything's there's not gonna be any obviously no pine needles. It's gonna be open, but I feel like a lot of the trees are still gonna be standing.
Yeah.
So I march in there. I had a few trees down, just enough to give them some security, but not enough to impede me to hunt it.
Yeah.
But you never would have known it if you wouldn't have done what I just said. There's no other way to do it. except with historical imagery. And so the first stage of beetle kill is that brown, right? And then it becomes the snowflake gray. So a lot of people, when they look at the map, they say, well, I can't tell sometimes if it's a burn or a beetle kill. Well, the telltale is the snowflake. And what I mean by the snowflake is when the when the beetle kills the tree, the limbs stay attached. So when you're looking at it from above, it looks like a gray snowflake.
Snowflake from the top.
But when a burn hits it, the limbs are gone. So you'll see the shadows of the trees. So that's one way you can tell real easily. And so typically, now don't quote me on this. This is in my course. I'm trying to do this. Remember, I think pine trees, in typical pine trees, are about 10 to 12 years before they start to fall on a beetle kill. Now, unless there's a wind event or something like that, right? And then spruce beetles, the spruce trees, the root systems are a little deeper. They can hang on a little longer. So they can go a little longer. So depending on the types of trees that you're in your area. But like the pine beetles are pretty, guys, this is critical if you're hunting Wyoming and Colorado for sure.
Yep.
The beetle kill is massive in those states. Even Montana's cranking up, right, a little bit. But you really should understand how to age beetle kills. Because let me tell you, there ain't much worse than driving up to Trailhead A and you get there and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
All these trees on the ground and now your hips are going to be burning. You're going to be
You'll be high stepping for hours and days and days and days.
But there are tricks and hacks that you can use e-scouting to age that beetle kill, and one of them is historical imagery.
That's a good one. So you got pressure trailheads, which is one that I do.
Yeah.
I probably just hadn't thought about it, but I definitely always. In fact, I was just talking to Neville 2 days ago. We were looking at a unit for elk in Colorado. Same thing, cruising trailheads and looking to see the number of vehicles and horse trailers. So
the corral thing's really interesting too.
The corrals,
and when they're parked there.
Yeah, when they're parked there, and
like I saw a trailhead. There's like thousands of cars, lots of cars in July.
Yeah.
So this thing gets it. But then I looked in September and there was like 2.
Yeah.
So it gets a lot of lake, like there's some high mountain lakes. So it must get a lot of
outdoor
recreational, but not as much hunting.
Gotcha.
But if you didn't do that, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And when you pull up to the trailhead, guys, like I hunted this trailhead in Colorado, it was a nightmare, right? Total nightmare, hundreds of cars there. But when we made the corner, when we made the turn, I was expecting it because I had already looked at it.
Yeah, you looked.
But if you make the corner and you never looked and you see 100 cars,
Gutted.
How do you feel about that? You're like,
gutted.
You feel gutted.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a second. So this spot was, we were in elk every single day and never saw a hunter. But there were over, and I'm not exaggerating, well over 100 rigs at this trailhead. But we knew we were going there. We knew there was a lot of elk there, but we knew we had to get off trail. So we literally did 8 miles with the llamas with no trail. We never saw a hunter. They don't get off the trail that far.
Yeah.
But we knew that strategy because of the pressure that trailhead had. So we developed our hunt plan around the pressure.
Yeah, knowing the people were there.
And we went to a mesa where there was no water at all. So we packed the water in the llamas. We took 12 llamas and 6 of them carried nothing but water. And we were able to stay 10 days with no water for us and the llamas because those 6 llamas carried 80, 90 pounds of water each. And but nobody else could do that. Horse guys couldn't even go up there.
Yeah.
Because horses couldn't drink. So it was a money spot. But we planned that out because of the pressure that we picked up on using the historical imagery.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one. You got a third one?
So the last one I use is moisture content. So this sounds strange when I say it, but what I do with it is I will page back through the years. Like when you pull up an image from June, everything's freaking green. Right? The meadows are green.
Especially this year.
Everything's green. You can't really make a determination of what meadow looks maybe more enticing than another meadow, what drainage is a little more green than other ones. So historical imagery allows you to page back to September. And actually, I look at October as many as I can. I know that sounds weird. A lot of people want to look at September because I'm hunting in September, but it's really the driest in October. So what I'm looking for are green ribbons and the halo effect. I'll tell you what I mean by that in a second, but I'm trying to pick up these green, these more green spots. Sometimes, it's more of that looks a little greener than this one. They're both green, but this one's a little
Greener.
brighter. This is a little
Brady
more
want to be
lush.
able
Brady
to.
didn't know
Brady
anything
can't.
about it.
He
It's
can't
very
do it.
Brady
He's
can't.
colorblind.
Brady's
But,
like,
you
that one
know,
looks a
normal.
little more gray.
So I bring my computer to trail. What
Yeah,
does this look like?
hey, trail, which one's greener? But so you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it's a great way to pick up these high moisture meadows, high moisture feed zones. So then I'll look at the horse historical image too for halo effect. And what I mean by halo effect is, guys, I found that some of the best meadows for elk like edge habitat. We've already talked about that, right? But they like variety of vegetation. And when you find these meadows on Google Earth that have the green halo on the inside, meaning a different color of green on the edge, like you'll see the middle be, it's all, I call it a halo, but I don't know. It's basically just a band of a different green on the outside edge. Not all meadows have it, but you'll look at something like, oh, look at that halo. Those get my interest because I've had great luck, especially when that meadow is close to some of the other 12 criteria that I was talking about. Then I get really excited about that meadow, right? So I use that historical imagery to analyze moisture content by date and that halo effect as well.
Those are all good.
Really good.
Man, real nuggets.
I could listen to him talk for hours.
That's me.
And
I
be
could
like,
just-
okay, all right, okay, we're doing this next. All right, okay, we're doing that next.
Yeah.
So I got a big one then.
Oh, Brady, this is a tell-all. You said the last podcast you said was, what was the best eat?
Best East Scouting podcast of all time.
That's
That was
what we were joking around about. This is going to be the new best.
The new best
The
one.
new
Yeah.
best.
2.0.
2.0. I like that.
So I don't know if I'm proud to say it, but we leaked it a few times. I have an elk tag this year.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, I have an
Big
elk
elk
tag.
guy.
Wow.
Brady is
Big
huge
elk
elk
guy.
guy.
You
Yeah.
talked about this like all morning.
I tried to get him to wear an elk
I don't think
t-shirt
I've
today.
ever seen you like kind of, you're excited about this.
Yeah, so I've even shown some Digiscope footage too.
Brady called me this weekend. This is no shit.
Yeah,
He
this is
called Sunday? You called me
Yeah,
Sunday.
Sunday.
Calls me Sunday. Genuinely as excited as I've heard Brady in a long time about scouting for elk.
It's so easy.
And I was like, you sound
easy.
genuinely very excited. Dude, big bulls, big 6-point, man. They're,
They sound
bulls
like
and
school
bulls and
buses.
bulls, more bulls.
It is fun
Dude,
because
he
so
was
easy.
jacked.
Because I was looking at the deer and like, wow, that deer I just glassed up was very hard
Brady
to glass
was
up.
stoked
But that elk was
about
easy.
an elk. Write that down.
He's coming into his own. We're seeing it happen before our eyes. Bro.
I was like, "Did you see
He's
any
coming into
deer?"
his own.
He's like, "Wasn't looking. No deer.
yeah, no deer.
Deer never heard of it. Elk."
So yeah, I have an elk tag. It just so happens to be a coveted elk tag. Let's just put it that way. It took me a lot of points to draw. My chance to kill a giant bull. For a guy like me, let's talk about layer stacking on GoHunt maps. If I'm looking to I've already e-scouted a ton. Like since I drew the tag, I've been e-scouting. I already have 1 boots on the ground trip. I'm going to do 4 more this fall before my hunt starts. But let's talk about what would be my first step that you would go through talking about layer stacking. Like what layers would you add on to someone like, I have this giant unit or maybe some multiple units. How would I try to like narrow it down to maybe a little smaller area to maybe do, like you said, like we don't have time to drive out. Let's say I never could go boots on the ground scouting. How would I like maybe stack some layers on there to try to figure out and hone in on a good spot too?
Okay, so first thing I would do, I mean, before I did anything else, I would go to the terrain analysis tool. I'd set the slope to 15 to 25 degrees. I would say north, northeast, northwest, because this
This is an October tag.
You're later season, right?
Yeah, later season.
Let's just say archery for
Yep, we can do archery. Yeah.
for this example, since I already started.
I mean, you're still. I mean,
I still
what
do.
did you say?
Wait,
I would still do the
what?
same. And
No.
that's,
I agree.
I'm
hunting in Mexico.
Let's say
I
it's
screwed
hot.
that up. My bad.
Let's say it's
Scratch
hot. So I'd still do the same, even for that time frame. See, I didn't say it.
I said it.
You're gonna have to edit.
This,
You're gonna have to
this
edit
is
it
why.
out.
This is the way I'm picturing this.
No one can get a tag even if they ever want it.
You know when you're
So, like,
watching, when you're watching TV and all of a sudden it just goes out and it's just the bars, And
Yeah.
that's
That's
what's
what
gonna
just
happen
happened.
right then. So my bad. That won't go live.
Okay,
Sorry,
so
Brady.
now that we've got that snafu out of the way, northeast, northwest, northeast, northwest, and north. Very specific slope range, 25 to maybe 30. I'd play with it.
Yeah.
But the reason it doesn't really matter, I want to set that slope, I want to set that orientation, and then I want to turn it on. And I want to see the clusters.
Okay.
Remember what I said about those elevation I want to say, where's the biggest concentrations?
Where all those like all that stuff.
Where's
meets.
the most green?
Yeah.
Well, look over. There's a whole bunch of green here in this drainage. There's almost none in this drainage. Does that mean there's no elk? No, it does not mean anything, guys. Remember, there is no magic bullet, right?
Yeah.
All we're doing is increasing the odds of encountering elk. We're not guaranteeing nothing, but this is one step to get it started. Set those slopes up, and I use the area tool in the polygon tool.
Yep.
That's my
Guys,
answer.
not very many owners use that tool very much. It is one of the most valuable tools when it comes to markups. So what I'll do is I'll draw an area around these areas, and I name them. I put a couple notes in there.
Are you doing that before you're adding other layers?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm just highlighting these slopes, just to give me an idea. Now I'll go back a lot of times to delete all this data.
Sure.
So that's when I know I'm getting off track here, but guys, one of the things about people are real reluctant to delete their data for some reason, right? But keeping a clean set of e-scouting data is important. So I'll do a lot of work that I'll go back later and delete, just because I'm building the system, right? And then once I kind of eliminate spots for whatever reason, I'll get rid of it. I don't want it hanging around if I'm not interested in it. So don't just keep it because you can. So don't be afraid to get rid of stuff. So I'll do these areas a lot of times without doing a whole lot else. And then I'll start doing these flyover tours and start really studying how it works together. And I'll start looking at accesses and zones of pressure. So for a limited entry tag, zones of pressure isn't a big deal.
Yep, it's a lot more limited for sure.
But you're going to Colorado, pressure is a big part of what I would start with. Like I do radiuses. I draw radiuses around all of the access points, 2 mile, 3 mile radiuses. And I want to see where those circles overlap and all the places where they don't reach if I'm hunting a state like Colorado. Now, if I drew a unit 27 Arizona rifle tag with 3 other dudes, I wouldn't worry about the pressure zones as much. I'd be more interested in other features. But one of my 12 criteria is pressure, is evaluating pressure. And I evaluate pressure with buffer zones. I do 1 mile around every road. I do 2 to 3 miles around every trailhead, and I try to see what's left.
Yep.
And not because I'm trying to get remote, not because there's not elk that doesn't mean there's not elk inside the circles here, guys. But what I'm trying to do is eliminate country.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm not trying to look. Sometimes Brian Barney, I can't even claim this tip because it's really Brian Barney's tip, but I've adopted it because it's so true. Sometimes when it comes to e-scouting and breaking down the area like yours, I'm not looking for where I think the elk are. I'm trying to eliminate the areas where I think they're not first.
Yeah.
And that's where those areas kind of come as I'm living. And what happens with these areas, guys, when you start dropping them here, things are going to start to make sense. You'll be like, well, over here in this side of the unit, I got 9 areas. But over here, I got nothing. Something's drawing me over here, right? So it tends to, once you start getting your markups on the screen, you tend to start navigating over there kind of quickly. It starts kind of coming together quickly. And so I would start out by slope orientation and slope pitch, kind of right off the bat, just to get an idea.
And then you kind of work into the roads and trails.
And then I kind of work from there.
Yep.
And then I'm looking for the edge. I'm looking for the edge habitat, and I'm looking for the fires in the areas. Obviously, I'm getting all those things kind of featured.
Yep.
So I'm stacking up the fire layers. I'm stacking up the slopes and all those kind of things, kind of narrowing it down. And then when it comes to pressure too, I start analyzing all the drainages. Are there trails in the bottom or they're not?
Yeah.
Now, most major drainages have a trail on the bottom, right? I mean, they all do. But every once in a while, you'll find some side drains, some feeder with no trail in them. Now, there might be a trail there, but there's just not one on the map. Those are some of my favorite places to hunt elk. And you don't have to get all that far sometimes off these trails. But especially if you got a big old giant drainage and there's a trail in the bottom going up, my hunt plan will never incorporate kind of along that trail. I will look somewhere off that trail, some feeder drainage at the head, somewhere up in the head. If I could put distance, sometimes distance solves the problem. But guys, those big long, those are outfitter magnets.
Yeah.
Those big long drainage with those big trails in the bottom, you got to be careful about what zone you're going to be in. Once you get past that 10-mile zone, you're going to be in outfitter country, right? So I like to be in that 5 to 8 mile zone. That's my sweet spot with llamas because it's kind of far for backpackers, but too short for outfitters. Mm-hmm. So I'd look at stuff like that. But again, with a limited entry tag and with open country, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be view shed analysis the heck out of that
if you're trying to find your glassing points.
I need the top 10 places where I'm going to set.
And glass.
And then I need a route plan. I need to plan routes to all of them. I need to know not only how far it is, but what's the elevation gain, and then I run the Naismith principle on them all. Meaning I'm going to run a calculation on how long it's going to take me to hike each one of those glassing spots. And that's all in my hunt plan, all in the notes. So when I show up, I know how long it's going to take me to get to every single glassing spot. Guys, I know that sounds like a lot of work, right? But when you're in the field and your notes and you got your hunt plan, that all late, man,
You're dialed.
you don't even got to think about anything. It's going to take me 4 hours to get there. I got to get up at 2:30.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sense getting to that glassing spot 45 minutes after daylight and leaving an hour before dark.
Do you want to quickly explain the Naismith principle so people can understand?
Okay, so the
Because it's
Naismith
in your
principle,
course.
yeah, it's been used for a long time, but I'm gonna try to recall it here in my mind. So the Naismith principle calculates how much an average person, and again, it depends on your fitness and your capabilities, and you can adjust it to your needs. But basically, the speed that you can travel on trail versus off trail. So let's say on trail, a person typically is 2 miles an hour. For a on trail, you can do more than that if it's super flat. But let's just say 2 miles an hour, and then off trail is like 1 mile an hour. Most people think they can go faster than that, right? But they can't.
Is that
And
including
then
like heavy backpack?
that's with not an 80 pound. That's with like a 20 to
Yeah, like a backpacker's backpack.
yes. With load, that's not without load. So let's just say 2 miles an hour is the average, and 2 miles on trail, 1 mile off trail. Sorry, and then it's 30 minutes additional for every 1,000 foot of change in elevation, up or down. Total elevation change, not just up. Because most people, they think they can go faster downhill, but actually sometimes the downhill is worse than the uphill.
If you got long legs
In
like me.
steeper country.
Yep.
So that's the principle. The principle is, let's just say it's 5 miles. No, let's say it's 4 miles just for my math skills. So it's 4 miles and it's 2,000 feet elevation. And my glassing spot's 2 miles away and it's 2,000 feet elevation. That's a pretty significant pull, right? Mm-hmm. So 2 miles, 4 miles is going to be 2 hours just to hike. And then 30 minutes per 1,000, that's another hour. So I'm looking at 3 to 3.5 hours on trail to get to that glassing spot. Rough estimates.
Yeah.
That's big.
4 miles.
Yeah. And it's not that far, but with
Sure,
that kind of
but-
increase,
yeah,
You need to know that
elevation.
you
time.
got to add another hour onto your hiking speed because of the elevation
Yeah.
change.
And you're putting that into your hunt plan then.
I'm all
like,
of it.
You're getting down to that detail.
Yeah, and it's
so
in
you're
the
like,
template. So in my course that's coming out, I think the second or third chapter is hunt plan, and my actual template is in there. I put it in there. You can download the Word document. It's got all of it in there, and you can. It's a Word, so you can change it to fit your needs. I'm just giving you something to start with.
Yeah.
Like just because sometimes it's just hard to just get started.
Mm-hmm.
And I got on a typical 7-day hunt. That's not true. On a typical 10-day hunt, I will plan 5 days. Guys, there's no sense to plan 10 days. You're not going to use all that data.
yeah.
There's no
It'd be
way
a
you're
lot.
going to move through it, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to get off base. You're going to figure stuff out when you get there.
Yeah.
But I feel like the sweet spot is about half the days of your hunt. If you have planned out to the nth degree, meaning morning, midday, night, what you're going to kind of do when you get out there, you always have options. You always have options. If I have found that if I just throw random waypoints on my whatever, I get out there and I start getting tired and I kind of forget my strategy.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've been laying in my tent And I'm talking printed hunt plan. Now, I will admit, I'm starting to take the PDF more and more on my phone. But I used to carry the printed all the time. But I pull that printed out, I'm laying in my tent, I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh man, I kind of forgot about that glassing spot. Man, that looks over that edge. Dang it, I'm going there tomorrow. Versus, how many times have you been in your tent at night?
Every night.
Oh, shit. What are we going to do? What are we going to do tomorrow?
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of like all the waypoints we've been to all these.
Yeah.
We got to figure out what are we going to do?
Yep.
Has it happened to you?
Oh,
It happens.
all the time.
Everybody.
Right?
All the time.
And it's never going to stop it. But for guys that are not in the game, like, guys, we've been doing this for a long time, right? When we go out on a 10-day hunt, if we haven't seen an elk for 7 days, we're staying. But I get message after message after message from guys that quit early, go home early because they get frustrated. When you got that hunt plan and you can pull it out and figure out a couple of nuggets that you kind of didn't think about, you got new energy. You're ready to, okay, all right, when you have a mission for the next day, your mindset is way better than when you're like, I have no idea what the freak I'm going to do.
Oh, I definitely relate to what you're saying. Like, there's a certain anxiety when you don't understand, or you can't make a decision on what to do the next day, and you lay there in your tent, your sleeping bag, your bivvy. You're just like, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do tomorrow? You know, and you just stew about it. You lose sleep, you stress about it.
The biggest thing about this hunt plan,
So I relate,
is the historical knowledge. I talk about historical knowledge all the time, but it's like studying for a test. When you write out this hunt plan, man, you are concreting it. You don't even realize how well you're going to know your areas if you take the time to do this. And when you get out there, you may not even have to ever even look at it, which is ideal.
Yeah.
The ideal setup is you roll in there, you just have reduced it all into this knowledge bank, and you get there and you're in elk every day.
Yep.
But if the wheels come off, you've got this backup.
Yep.
And I find that the process of preparing the hunt plan is more important than using the hunt plan on the hunt. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just the organization, the camp options,
the work,
the glassing spots, figuring out the routes, how long it's going to take to get there, all these. And then I also, like, between hunt areas. So like on a 7-day hunt, I'll have 5 hunt areas minimum on a 10-day hunt. I'll never get to all 5. But I know that if I can't find elk in number 1, I'm ready to go to 2 because it's already worked out. I've already got the date. I've got the plan. I've already downloaded my offline maps. How many times have guys stayed in the area because they don't even have a backup option?
Yeah.
They're not seeing shit, but they just stay. And they stay.
Yeah.
Because they
Is there
don't
anything
want to
else
make
to
a
go?
move.
Yeah.
So when
Well, they
I
don't feel
move
comfortable or have confidence to make the move. If you
Well,
had those
and they
backup
don't-
plans, you would have a little bit of confidence.
They don't know how long it's going to take them to drive. They don't know what time they have to leave to get there before dark. They don't know all these things, right? So one of the things I do is when I organize my hunt plans from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I calculate the driving distance between each one, and it's in my plan. So when I'm sitting there and number 1's not working, I'm like, I'm 4.5 hours away from number 2. Guys, if we leave at 10, we'll be hunting by tonight.
Right.
That's big.
Instead of sitting on the side of the road like, well, I don't know how far it is. It might be 80 miles. Maybe we can be there. But,
lose a
so
morning.
You
or
don't
an
want to
evening.
miss an evening. You don't want to miss a morning unless you have to. I mean, I do. You got to make sacrifices. But I hope people are picking up on this. I know this seems so elementary, but all these little elementary pieces really add up to bumping your odds of success.
Yep.
Guys, the average hunter in Montana, Brian said it at the summit, do yourself public land archery elk hunter in Montana is now about 6%. If you want to kill an elk 1 out of 20 years, then keep acting like an average elk hunter. If you want to do a little better than that, then start thinking about some of these incorporating. Not all, maybe you can't do it all, but anything you do is going to move the needle.
Yep.
Because a lot of guys just aren't taking the time to go to this level of work.
Yeah, let's talk about time. So when I was giving the seminar at the summit, I was talking about like how many people are just sitting there every single night. You're wasting all that time watching stupid Netflix, Amazon Prime videos.
Watching cuties on Netflix or something, right?
Yeah. Like, what is that?
That's what Cody does.
Where are you trying to set your, so you're not setting yourself up for success. But like, how much time do people actually spend e-scouting? Like, every single night you can be doing a little bit something. You can do it on your phone, your computer, instead of watching a stupid movie that does nothing for your education, for your hunting career. Yes, you have to have balance in life and all that stuff. I get that.
Yeah.
But the guys who want to be dedicated, who want to kill big shit, like you're going to have to put in the extra effort, and it starts with e-scouting. Like how much time do you think you put in? Let's say maybe a week or a week on e-scouting.
I get asked this all. Oh, in an average week?
Average week, or let's go a month, whatever you want to do. Like how many hours do you think you're spending for one tag?
I'm doing right now 10 to 15 hours a week.
Yeah, and that's not
I'm not joking.
hard.
I mean, literally that much time. Well, I was one of your I don't know his name. What's his name?
Omar.
We were doing a little e-scouting right there.
Goggins Jr.
We popped the laptop up. I had Google Earth open. I had GoHunt open. We're alternating screens. I'm like, this. Now I wouldn't classify it as e-scouting, but we were dropping some pins.
Yeah.
And I spend as much or more time e-scouting than I do on the hunt itself. And most people are blown away by that. Why wouldn't you? You got 10 days, guys. A lot of guys are not blessed like me. I mean, I realize how lucky I am to do what I do. I didn't always have this. I had 14 days. I had whatever I had. I had to make it work, right? Mm-hmm. And there's no way I'm not going in. I want those days to be absolutely maximized.
Yep.
And here's the thing. A lot of guys are intimidated by the technology. Mm-hmm. And I get that a lot. Guys, I'm just not good at computers. You don't have to be good. It's a browser. Yeah. Everything works on the browser now, except for Google Earth. It's standalone, right? And it's like an archaic application. Learn it. Be a man. I mean, be a man or a woman. Jesus. Get in there, do some practice, try some things, educate yourself, watch some YouTube, guys, there's a million podcasts, there's a million YouTube, there's courses if you want to spend a little bit of money. You're spending $1,000 on that freaking elk tag, and you're not going to
that's just the cash. That's not the time and the
oh my gosh. And you're not going to buy the $99 yearly membership to OC for 8 courses that can help you up your game in a couple different things.
Which, by the way, use promo code TREELINE, you get 20% off.
I was going to say, don't you be throwing out that GOHUNT code.
No, we're using promo code TREELINE here.
This is your hard work.
I was getting ready to put my foot down on that.
No, we'll make sure we get it at the end.
And here's the biggest thing too. People who buy OC right now in the month of July will get Explorer GOHUNT maps for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So use promo code TREELINE.
Guys,
get your course on OC.
There's no industry. There's no hobby. There's nothing that I know of, I'm sorry, I'm getting away, that you don't have to invest a little time and money into becoming good at it. If you're a photographer and you want to be good at photography, like next level, you're going to take some courses. You're going to do some tutorials. You're going to pay for some educational materials. You're going to buy applications, right? You're going to buy Lightroom. You're going to buy Bridge. You're going to buy Adobe Photoshop. Whatever, right? Why do you hunt? I mean, I'm getting ready to go back in that GOHUNT store and probably get divorced, but we don't spend any money on improving our, and I'm not trying to, guys, I don't care if you buy any of these guys. I don't care about any of that, but Elk Collective, Elk 101, whatever it is, if you need the knowledge, it's available, and you just got to be willing to go get it.
Yeah.
And these are needle moving things.
Yep.
There is no education that I know of that I've seen out there that you're going to buy at a reasonable rate that's not going to move the needle a little. Yeah. Now, maybe some, like mine, will move it more than others, but
I mean,
just kidding.
It's the skill set beforehand, which is arguably the most important part, right? It's like, I mean, if you're not investing in your skill set, and hunting is one of those things too. It's like, we all get depressed come winter, spring, early summer. You can't do it, right? There's no other hobby out there that just completely shuts off. You can't even get good at it. You can't work on it. You can't do anything. I mean, you can shoot your bow, you can do all that stuff. But as far as like skill set in hunting, finding where animals are, actually being out there on the ground, finding them, going through hunt plans, all that stuff, you have 3 months a year to do that, right? And really, you only have September to like truly execute on elk hunting in the rut with a bow. It's like your time slot is so small to work on it. Why the fuck would you not invest in the education of it before it gets here to then be that much further that next season it gets here, and then do it again the next season, do it again the next season, before you know it, what you could have, what would have taken you 15 years, you now have done in 3 years. Now you're successful. You're one of the 10% that actually harvest elk every single year.
Well, and Like, I didn't even bat an eye, guys, in 1990 when Googler came out at $3.99. I didn't even think about it.
Yep.
It didn't even cross my mind to think there's nothing you can buy for the price. For the $3.99 that we paid for Google Earth, you can buy almost every Western hunt planning tool that's available for $3.99.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
I mean, I'm thinking about the pricing, right? Like Elk Collective, Elk 101, OutdoorClass. You can almost get them all for $3.99.
Yep.
Especially if you use a few codes here and there.
Yep.
And so people that are resistant to that, you can't lead. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink.
Yeah. So I want to jump on one thing. So when I was at the summit, you made a really good analogy, and I wanted you to explain it again. So it's basically like you're trying to expand your hunting toolkit. You're trying to refine in all these different areas. You could be the best shot in the world. You could be the best at maybe researching to get a tag, or you could be the best at e-scouting. But when you combine all of those things together and like be proficient at all of them, like your toolkit's just getting that much bigger and sharper all the time. So you had an analogy of like your Ironman back in the day.
Yeah.
How would you say you were really good at biking?
Yeah.
And then like explain that whole thing, because I think like really resonated with me.
You said that. I haven't really said that much. Probably the first time I really brought that out was at the summit. So guys, as hunters, and I used to do we were talking about this. So I know it's hard to imagine.
I don't think so. You look like you're in good shape.
I agree. For 57. Holy shit.
I think you look like you're in good shape.
I'll pass a couple pictures around while we're sitting here. You guys can look at my old days.
Yeah, you were an accolade winning Ironmaner, right?
And I wasn't winning anything, but I was pretty close to winning a few.
Well, you've made Kona quite a few times.
Those are my triathlon days.
Well, you obviously lifted weights though too.
Look at that.
Bullshit.
No weights. That's from football. That just came with me from
you had
playing
the
football,
background of it. So you did lift weights. You weren't just a runner your whole life.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, so I made this Ironman. So Ironman is 2.5 mile swim, 112 mile bike, 26 mile run. Right? Long day. Mm-hmm. And the fastest guys, well, to be like let's say at the 6% of the Montana boat killers. If you break 10 hours in the Ironman, you're kind of a badass. Mm-hmm. If you can do all that in less than 10 hours, you're kind of you've been looking at it too.
Accolades.
You're kind of a stud. Let's just be honest. Well, my first couple Ironmans were 11, 12 hours, 11 and a half. I just couldn't get any better. I did like 4 or 5 of them, and I was all in that range all the time. And my coach says, Livesay, you're a dang near professional level cyclist, and all you do is ride your bike. You're a pitiful runner, because I'm 170. I'm a big triathlete, right? Your marathon time is 3:30, 3:45. It's pathetic. That's pretty fast, but it's not good enough to get sub 10. And you got to stop training your strengths and start training your weaknesses. Like, I wasn't a great swimmer. I was average. My wife was a great swimmer, kicked my ass all the time. And then the running, I would just get destroyed. But I would be like top 5 off the bike. I always used to say, in the Ironman, I saw everybody 3 times. They blow by me in the swim. I blow by them on the bike. And then they blow by me on the run. We're friends by the finish line. And, I was averaging maybe 300 miles a week on my bike. And I took it to 100. Drastic cut. And I started running 60, 70, 80 miles a week. All of a sudden, I'm running. I went to the Chicago Marathon and ran a 3-hour marathon. And I'm like, at 170, I'm like, I have arrived.
Yeah.
So I'm with my buddy at this marathon, and we're running, and we're at mile 18, and he's like, what are you doing here still? And I'm like, I'm feeling pretty dang good. We're clicking off 630 miles. Everything is good. And I'm like, but I had to give up a little of my strength to get that wing. And then I go to Brazil for my honeymoon, my wife. So my wife convinced me to marry her. And I said, well, honey, the deal is I'm only going to get married if we go to Brazil and do the Ironman. Okay. I mean, that wasn't a hard sell, right? So she wasn't going to do the Ironman. And I was training for a couple months, and then all of a sudden she's like, you know, I think I'm going to do it with you, and I'll just quit if I get tired. You know, I just want to do it with you. I'm like, okay. So we started training together. But I adopted this philosophy, and I go there, and I do a 9:30. And I go to the World Championship. I qualified for the Ironman World Championships. So did my wife. Her first Ironman. Her very first Ironman, she gets a slot to Kona. So we go to Kona that year. We're one of the only husband-wife couples to qualify and go to Kona in the same race.
That's cool.
But my point was, I never could break. Think about that. I was 11.5-hour Ironman. Took it to 9.5.
That's a lot.
2 hours is a lot, guys. When you're at that level, that's a lot of time. And I actually biked slower than I did previously. But when I got off the bike, I ran a way better marathon. And I actually outswim. I got scared, actually. They racked us by last name. I've never been in a race that racks by last name. And I came out of the swim, and I get to my bike, and my wife's bike's still there. I'm like, what? I beat her out of the swim. First, I was nervous. I thought something may have happened. Then I'm like, hell yeah. You know?
Finally got one on her.
So, you know, I swam like a 104 or 103, hour 3 for 2.5. Well, my previous times were like 120, 130. So the point is, I know that was a long story, but it's important because if you're a great shot, what do you do? If you're a great archery guy, so they shoot.
All they do is shoot. They don't work on anything else.
They go to the range
You're
every
already
morning.
a killer, but your e-scouting game is terrible. Your fitness
That's me.
game
I think
is
you're talking to me.
That might have been trails. Don't worry.
Fitness guys, all they do is run, put their packs on, get in shape. Can't find. They're hiking all their ass all over the mountain, but they have no idea where the elk are. And then when the elk shows up, they can't kill it because they can't shoot. So you've got to balance your game out and work your weaknesses. If you're not good at technology and you're not good at computers and you're not good at that's exactly why you need to be doing it. Don't shy away from it. Dig in. And learn how to, if you're using GOHUNT, learn how to use it, not just turn it on. You know, learn all the little things we talk about, all these isolating these bands and learn all these view shed, flyover tours, route profiles, Naismith principles, all these things. Learn these little, they're not that complicated, but they're game changers.
I'm always shocked at how much feedback we get through customer service on not understanding what GOHUNT truly does, like the full sense of it. So that's why I always just say we suck at marketing. We must just be terrible at marketing, or, you know, it's one of those things where it's so powerful you can't really market that, right? You would need a complete like convention hall in 4 hours to tell somebody truly what it does. The individual has to like really learn how to use it, like you're saying, and that goes for a lot of gear in hunting. That's not just finding out GOHUNT. I mean, that goes for learning how to use your backpack correctly.
That's right.
Like, how many people do we see with just shit run backpacks? And it's like, man, do you realize how inefficient you are right now?
You got to run a tight ship.
And what that adds up to over time when you're running just a shit bag of a backpack?
All that weird weight moving around.
It's like what that, how much that's taking away from you over time, and being proficient in all the things that you're using and not just being, oh, that looks cool, I'm going to use it.
But that's what resonated me so much at the summit. I don't know if a lot of people like really grasp that.
I know, you got to think about it for a minute. It's like, think about all the functions of hunting, okay? Let's just do it this way. Let's break hunting down. Each person that's listening to this needs to break down their hunting skill set into 10 items. Figure out 10, right? Fitness, art shooting, gear, e-scouting, whatever.
Navigation.
Navigate, being able to navigate with a freaking direction, whatever. Come up with things. Rank them in the order that you think you're proficient at them. Do it yourself. And then circle the bottom 3. And that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Forget the other stuff. Don't shoot every night. One of the nights that you shoot, put the bow down, spin it on your computer. You can't kill elk if you can't find elk. And same with any hunting pursuits, right? You can't do anything unless you can find them. So, and even guys that, this has been one of the most shocking things to me in my course. I thought when I built my course, it'd be beginners. I get almost no beginners because they can't even wrap their mind around that they need it.
Yeah.
What I'm getting is super experienced guys that want to up their game one more notch. Like I got a great testimony from a guy who says, man, I thought I was an e-scouting genius. And I went ahead and did your course. And he goes, dude, this, and this was game changing. He goes, I knew a lot of it, but that 20% that I didn't changed so many things the way I did it. You don't have to benefit from the 100%.
Yeah.
Like Trail, we just educated him on binoculars this morning.
Oh,
right?
this entire, I don't know how long we're in, probably 2 hours at this point, I'd bet, but right at 2 hours, but the entire time I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, Mark showed up and just convinced me of a lot of things.
Yeah,
today.
a lot of
I don't know about
it's
that.
It's the 80-20 rule.
But- Yeah.
If you get 20% value, 80% what you already know.
Right.
You're at a
That's
huge
good way.
step
That's
forward.
a good way of putting it. It's a good way of putting it.
Huge step forward.
Just a few little things. Like for you, like one of the things we kind of glassed over it, but for you guys that rely on killing animals that you see, meaning glassing, for guys that are really, that's a big part of their game. We had the big binocular discussion, right? Great. It does you no good if you can't get spots that are good glassing spots.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So becoming an art. Now Brady, that's his game. He can look at a map and he knows right where to go. But an average person would look at a map and like, I don't know. Learning how to use this flyover tours, learning how to use the view shed analysis, learning these things will change the game when it comes to glassing. And these, I know those sound like foreign words, and we don't have time to get into it, but I'm throwing them out there because I want people to hear the words and then go investigate.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta, Google's powerful, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta hear the word. You're like, oh, it's like a dog on a trail. And once it gets the scent, they can kind of figure it out. So anyway, it's good. I'm really excited. So
I tell people a story all the time. I didn't learn shit in school, like nothing. Because when I first got out and got into the business world, when I was sitting in meetings, I used to sit there with just a notepad. And when people would say stuff, I'd just write it down. I'm like, no clue what that is. No clue what that is. I'm like, I went to school for 4 years. I have a great education. I don't know anything what people are talking about. But I just sit there and write words down, write sentences down, write things down. And then I'd go back and Google it and I'd put a definition next to each of them. And in the first 2 weeks of work, I was 10x smarter than I was in school. It was crazy.
well, now we got one more
in
tool.
school,
We got
kids.
Chat
Yeah,
GPT.
stay in school, man. It obviously does something.
Well, now we got Chat GPT.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to think about this, but
Yeah.
This could put me out of a job.
it is so potent for this kind of stuff. Now it's kind of basic in hunting. It doesn't have a lot of hunting resources.
It'll get there.
But it'll get you there. It'll get you in the right direction with keywords. So anyway, it's been good. I'm glad you guys had me on, and I always love coming here. And
Yeah, we appreciate it. That was
Yeah.
good. It was an education. There
No,
were-
we love having you, and I love honest people. Like listening to honest people. That's when you get the most feedback. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, I could sit and listen to Livesay for hours.
Can we touch on
Because you
your-
actually say
I'm a good bullshitter.
Well,
you
you
know?
actually, when people try to brush over things, you can only do what people tell you or what you hear. What's wrong? What's this? What's that?
Brady and I have talked about this.
the honesty is
the
where-
thing I hate is these YouTube videos that kind of like 1 minute on how to e-scout elk.
You can't do it in 1 minute, bud.
Turn on your computer and buy this. I'm like, I want in the weeds. I mean, sometimes I feel like I get too far down the rabbit hole on some of this stuff, but I'm a detail. I want that level of detail. And I think those are the things that move the needle. Some of these platitudes and summaries, it's good if you're basic, but there's a lot of that out there, guys. There's a lot of that. A lot of the articles that have been written are real summarized. Brady probably cringes when I send in my articles because I try to get in the weeds on a few things, right? Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes people don't understand what you're saying, but sometimes it's like Lorenzo said, you just
Go to
got to
Google.
you
Write
just
it
got to
down.
introduce them to a concept, and then it's like a dog with a bone, and then they can kind of work it out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I want to quickly touch on your outdoor class course.
okay.
Tell me about that. Like, what are people going to learn from it? What are they going to gain?
Well, so once me and Bailey stopped fighting,
Who's winning the fight right now?
well, he won the fight because he was right and I was wrong. I'm saying it publicly.
Holy shit!
But anyway, I enjoyed Harrison, all the guys that I got to work with there. It was such an experience. So I went there, kind of back up for a week filmed for a week every day with these guys. And when they first said a week, I'm like, a week? What are we going to do for an hour course, right? I'm like, what can we possibly do? But man, the level of detail that they do, it made me feel like my course is shit. I'm like, I learned so much in the process. I just want to say that. But anyway, film the course. It's Next Level E-Scouting, to the name of it. Now, I don't know if the name is good, but what it is, it's I think it's 14 modules. And it kind of does what you were talking about. It kind of goes through a lot of my initial, it's got a lot on hunt planning, the template, how to use it. It's got a section on custom markups, we didn't get into that, but how we use custom markups. And I actually feel really bad that I didn't put in Brady's tip. He said something I didn't do. So he puts all of his kills in black. Where he uses black, the color black for kills.
Easy to see.
And man, I'm like,
pops.
oh, I should have been doing that. So even though I think I know everything, right, guys? I picked up that tip. So I use yellow for in the field waypoints. I use different colors for priority.
Yep.
I use different icons. But anyway, I have a structure, and I teach that in the class. I think that's really, and I don't teach that anywhere else. That's not even in my e-scouting course. I kind of didn't really put it in there. So I think that's a really good module. And there's a glassing module in there. Remember we were talking about the view shed. It's all in there. And the Naismith, the route calculation stuff is in there. What else is in there? The flyover tour, how to do the flyover tours is all in there. So it's not really everything, but it's 14 very targeted e-scouting techniques.
Is it species based or is it overall? You could use it
It's
for
kind of overall, and I kind of wanted to do it that way. So there's really not, it's just how to find the best glassing spots, no matter what you're doing. How to do your hunt plans, no matter what you're doing. Right? So yeah, it is pretty, I don't want to say it's general because it's definitely not general, but it isn't the 12 elk finding criteria, right?
Yep.
But it's the usable information no matter what you're doing.
Like we just said, if you're a guy that like feels like you're not maximizing all your tools in your toolbox, then I think this is for you.
Cool.
Now, I think it's for everybody, but I think for a guy that feels like, man, I want to kind of up my skill set a little. I feel like I'm pretty good, but I heard that flyover tour. I heard that view shed. I heard that hunt plan template. I heard that custom markup. I kind of want to dig a little more into that. I think it'll serve you well if those are your thoughts.
Cool. Hit us with the promo one more time, Brady.
Yeah, so if you use promo code TREELINE when you're signing up for OutdoorClass, you get
Don't
20.
use that OutdoorClass promo code.
TreeLine.
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 TREELINE. You get 20% off. And anyone who signs up right now in the month of July, they're going to get GoHunt Explorer, which is our GoHunt Maps, web and mobile, for free.
Well, now that we showed them how to isolate the high spots, everybody's going to be one of you.
That's it.
Guys, whatever you think of tools, nothing matches that. That is absolutely hands down such a dynamic, useful tool that if you only buy it for that, it's worth what is it a year?
$49.
$49. My gosh, you can't even go eat for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as you thinking your way through it, you get OC class, you get a GoHunt Maps membership,
Yeah.
you get points back in the gear shop.
Man,
It's
like,
kind of a
how are you guys making
kind of a
money?
no-brainer.
Well, we've always said, I mean, we say it jokingly on the podcast all the time. I always give Brady shit for it because he tries to keep secrets, but we're here for the people. That's what we've done since day one. It's like, listen, man, we want you hunting more. Like, yeah, we're not a nonprofit. We're not a, what's the word I always used to say?
Charity?
We're not charity. We're not giving away shit. Well, like we have to survive and make money, but like we want you hunting more so than giving us the most amount of money. You know
Well, what I like about GoHunt, I'm just going to say, what I like about my partnership with you guys is that the target and the focus on loyalty. Like you guys have all these things where you give away this and this and this, but the hope is, right, is that when they come in, I don't know if I'm wrong or not on this, but when they come into the GoHunt family or the GoHunt structure, that this is going to be a repeat. This is going to be something they're going to keep doing.
Yeah.
And you guys are investing in that. Like you give away a lot of things. You do a lot of really deep things to get people into the process so that you can show them what is capable.
Yeah.
Just like when it's insider season. If you're not using insider, you're an idiot. I'm just going to say
There's a promo cut.
I've been using it for way before
we even started working
I think
together.
I was year one. I had to be one of the first subscribers.
I think you were. Didn't we look at that when we were talking in
I don't know,
Salt
but
Lake?
I've been using it for a long time, and it just cuts the edge off of all that stuff, of the tag stuff. But so I like the fact that you guys are investing in the future as much as you're investing at the moment. So I do appreciate that in a company, because that's what I try to do in my event businesses too.
Yeah. And you're not wrong. Our customer retention is like gold level standard. So you're exactly right.
Well, I like that. Same with my courses, guys. If my e-scouting elk course didn't deliver, then why would they do the meals course? Why would they do anything else I do? Why would they buy my toolkits? Yeah. They would not be interested in anything if I didn't deliver on what I said I'd deliver on. And you know, maybe some people it's too much, but that's okay too. You know, depends on what you want to get out of it. You know, it's just like everything in life. Put in what you get out.
We appreciate you coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Closing thoughts for us, Trail?
I was just gonna say it's. I think we were talking about it before we started, but one of the things I hate most is hearing my own voice. So I very rarely go back and listen to any podcast that I've been on or a part of. But I will say, just thinking back over the last 2 hours, there were so many just little nuggets and hidden gems and things that I necessarily don't always think about that I would like to revisit. So I think I'm going to, this is actually one of the podcasts I'm going to actually go back and listen to myself, even though I was on the damn thing. So I appreciate you coming, and that was awesome.
Well, thanks. Sometimes we go fast. Like I say, we roll right on.
So much to talk about.
That was good.
So it might be worth a re-listen.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
So thank you guys.